trades. The Kanye are now pushing in, and is this the time? Ungers needs to get on the attack dance. I mean, he has 70 vills. He's so far at an eco. Put some vills on the attack dance, and this will be even better. He's not switching. He's on XP. The cab is going down. It's getting melted by the buildings here. The longbows are still standing and doing damage.
Does he have enough steam though? I think
There's not
Julian
enough
is running out though.
Yeah.
Eaton Bowman, 1.5 fire rate once again, coming up, Trump being king here, and just even though
drag boxing the Naginatas forward, the Coyotes are trying to move, and the Atotan, he drag boxed the wrong direction, and now the Atotans are getting snared by the. Oh my
Nagis
goodness!
are shredding this right now, and it doesn't look like he's got his
11s.
I don't see any of the pikes. Where's the pikes on this fight? The Nagis are just cleaning this entire map up. Coyotes are falling. You got the Ashes getting buffed for the Dino. They've got Ashy attacking. They're absolutely shredding everything here. Yumi don't even need to micro this at this point.
He's going to have to sack off his Ruskets. He has to come in melee here.
Yes.
I don't think he can continue keep microing. Well, he's going to try, wait for reinforcements and try to make it to his blockhouses. The question is, how much damage will he going to be taking? This is nice micro from Ungers, but you know, the Atontans just have to attack move here. And 1.5 fire rate, they do have a staff animation. And the Tontins are absolutely insane. But he has drawn him into the double blockhouse. Now fighting under the double blockhouse. The question is it going to be enough?
Skits are a little behind here. The Cossacks are now getting snared by the Pumas and the Coyotes. The Explorer is now in with the triple XP tech. Some Warriors are mixing. The Atotans doing absolutely insane amount of damage. He's on plus 36%. Look at him on the attack. That's a plus 36%. And he's just
Coyotes on the Strelets.
Blockhouses are actually doing decent damage here. The Coyotes are kind of going down. The Spears are now trying to move in towards the front, and it's actually a decent fight, I think, for Tabben.
Pretty good fight for Tabben, but you know, there's not very many Cossacks. He's letting a lot of these Coyotes and Pumas kind of shred his Strelets a bit. Finally getting his Cossacks where they want to be on the Slingers, and gonna be cleaning up.
Here, the ESOCs are out of position. The Carolinians as well, and the ESOCs are gonna go up top. Oh, the tree carrying here. The tree is for Sweden, and there you go. We can see some damage here. The ESOCs, all the ESOCs are dead. That's quite a lot of mass. The ESOCs coming back from their raid. Nah, GG. Optimus, his mass is getting completely clean with the ESOCs. That's gonna be a big snare right there, and there is no way those Carolinians are gonna come out alive.
Maybe should be able to swing this water fight. Yeah, it's so the micro here is so intense. Get in, get back in. Will the Yumi have the chance to snipe him? Look at the ship is at 62 HP.
Oh! Frontline, what a god!
Oh no! Oh my god! Oh my gosh! It was insane, and that's GG. Wow, those galleys have such low HP.
He's gonna need to take trades here, and he's taking really good trades. The Kanye are now pushing in, and is this the
And they'll come back.
Hey, we are online. Damn. Hello.
We are
Hello,
live.
everyone.
Bonjour.
Fine. Bonjour, indeed.
Je m'appelle Alisson.
Hey, it's not that bad. It's not that bad, mate, I have to say.
Well, the accent.
Castor are bad. No, we are back. Sorry for the typo, Jack. I can understand sometimes typing on the keyboard can be difficult. But
we are bad, though, aren't we, though, Kaneki? We are terrible. We're like,
probably.
if you guys, if you guys want some good content, that's that you need to visit Give You Anxiety. That's where you need to go.
Man, the split micro, you know, like musketeer everywhere. Damn, I miss Give You Anxiety from time to time, I have to say. But today, Ungers vs Tabben. Harrison, I hope you're hyped for that one. Ungers vs Tabben. Who is your favorite? I don't have a pronostic on my end, but maybe you do.
I have more affinity with Tabben. The reason being, Tabben was in the back seat of my car in Manchester, and you know,
damn,
when you've got a hot Swedish blonde-haired person in your back seat, I spend more time looking in the mirror than in the road ahead. That's,
Thank God you both survived that incident. That's all I'm gonna say. That story didn't end badly.
I mean, if I died, then so would Tete, Hazard, and Brook G, I think it was at the time. Maybe Radico. It would have been a mess.
Was there an event in Manchester or something?
It was
For
the
you to-
2017 New World Championship LAN hosted by Skate. Yeah, Interjections esports thing.
Okay,
And-
yes.
I mean, essentially, the story for that as well was that it was all going well, but they spent so much time hyping up and focusing for LAN events, so they kind of like forgot the day-to-day content side. And the AOE3 event went fantastically; they were very happy. But when they tried to do an AOE2 event, because half the production were AOE3 and half the production were AOE2, actually it didn't quite land as they'd hoped to the AOE2, and they'd be like, hasn't quite worked. But I reckon their groundwork has kind of led the way, definitely for stuff like EGC TV. But I think EGC, I'm not too sure even really knew Escape, but the classic Aussie Drongo for a bit of money at it, and realizing, bam, actually these things can work. And one thing consistent throughout this entire time is ESOC and AOE3. So actually, we've been going for a long time.
Indeed. And I see a few people joining in the chat. I hope you are all excited, guys, for this series, as we are. Because, as Alison said, the competition on Age of Empires 3 still goes. It's still going on. ESOC still there. And we can see Lionheart with the big raid. Damn, boy! All of a sudden, 124 viewers. I think he was hosting a tournament. How was it going, guys?
I think it was Obi-Wan Kenobi's free-for-all tournament. And they're like the semi-finals or finals, whichever it was, like one on like a Saturday, one on a Sunday, and one on like 3 a.m. Monday night. I'm like, bruh, who the hell is even awake at 3 a.m. GMT?
Damn. It went OS. Oh, damn.
Was it the game went out of sync? Was it the rec went out of sync? Probably both, actually, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, damn. that's the irony of it. But
I played a free-for-all survival game, which is the game mode where you start on a map with one shipment, but there's no resources, no anything, and you kind of self-sufficient yourself with stuff like mills, sheep, that kind of thing. And because it's a free-for-all, it was just so pointless because you wanted to try and push out and attack people, but if I was to attack somebody, then you're both worse off for the rest of the game. And then I wanted to take out somebody who's like a treaty player. Just because I wanted to. And then he came back with age 5 years, like, oh, I need to catch up. And then I got sandwiched by both sides. I'm like, I can't be bothered to like make 5 layers of bastion wall on a map with no trees. So I was like, yeah, GG out, bye. I was like, I just sat there afterwards, like thinking, why did I start my weekend with a free-for-all game? No matter how many times you think it's a good idea before you get to a free-for-all, it is. I can't vouch for it. I can't defend it because it's fundamentally flawed that the best person in the game doesn't win the game.
To be fair, on Age of Empires 4, thanks to mods, they found a cool solution to that, which is when you kill a player, you gained 50 max population. And suddenly, being the best player early in the game becomes interesting for later, because you have 250 max pop instead of 200. For example. So that was an interesting solution. But guys, I believe we are ready to jump into the game. Ungers is going to play the Germans, Tabben is going to play the Chinese, and the map is going to be Punjab. Let's do the intro. On the left side, in the red, we have Ungers that is going to play the Germans, while on the right side, in the blue, we have Tabben that is going to play the Chinese, and the map is Punjab, as we said. Little advantage for Chinese, I believe, because the Disciple is going to be able to go for the cows very, very quickly into the river on top of that rickshaw, basically.
Yeah, there's been a round of 16 series, best of 7, game number 1, between 2 players of the Jacked clan and 2 players who
have been absolutely phenomenal in the past and are still at the top level of the Age of Empires 3 scene. However, it's a bit of a strange one because I think the rise of players like Boy, Phoenix, and the return of Hazard put Ungers and Tabben in a bit of a weird position. And actually, like I kind of want to see one of these two players today step up and say, "Look, I am going to be the person going to go for the tournament win today." And they both have the ability to do so. Tabben went very, very far in the New World Championship LAN in 2017, and he lost to Diaruga, who was absolutely on fire, and what a series that was. Recently been playing a lot of DE civs, getting that kind of practice with the stronger civs in anticipation for this tournament. Big Ungers, he plays every civ. He's been a bit of a quick search player on random civ. I'm sure he's ready to go and feeling pretty warmed up and flexible. So opening card for Chinese, of course, is a tea leaf deck. Looks very standard. Does have kind of a skirm sword based army. No old dynasty reforms in the 4th age. Looks very standard to me. Does have flamethrowers age 2, but I'm expecting him to kind of do maybe a 7-step semi-FF to 3rd age.
Maybe, or even straight edge up, because we can see here two very, very good treasures. First, the 70 wood, and now the 100 food, which is really, really gonna speed up all of that edge up process. You can see that he could afford basically his consulate without chopping more wood. A consulate plus TP, I believe. No, not the consulate, sorry, TP plus village. And he will get the consulate from the card he exports there. And he's on a nice path in order to edge up then to the commerce and potentially Fortress Age. Behind that, on the other side, Ungers, what is his deck? Is he gonna go for some mercenaries or something like that? I wonder. I don't think so, but hey, who knows? Yeah, very few mercenaries. Silversmith though, in the deck right there, so maybe a very eco approach. Also, we can see he has the 2 settler wagons in commerce edge, so maybe he's gonna go for something very goody against China there. Lot of coin as well, so he can go for, you know, a batch of 5 Ulans into a castle age, maybe that, into a fortress age. Maybe that's going to be the play right there. We are going to see how Ungers is going to pivot that. I don't think we're going to see any bow pike rush because he has only 700 wood, and usually you would want the 600 wood as well in case you go for a bow pike.
Yeah, I don't think bow pike versus China really works. They can pretty much get to the 3rd age, and you can do like a 300 export pivot into Fortress Age, Skirm Age up with Redcoats ready to go. He doesn't actually have the export in his deck. For Ungers' point of view, he does have Silversmith, which I think is a better card than 2 settler wagons for eco, especially on a map where there's no gold mines. He needs to prolong as much of this natural coin as possible, and did have 5 dops in his deck. He's named his deck 5 Doppelsonders, and actually it's very important in his compositional play here from Ungers that the 5 dops are present. Quite often with China, they have a bit of a, let's say, a large mass, let's say, and just shove it all in, hand cab to snare, dops to get in there, and actually, or Shangdao to get in there, and actually the dops is a great counterplay in China. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't really feel like a great German map, really. I suppose it's somewhat open, the resources, but China should have enough resources in base. But the mines here for Germany look a bit harsh.
I agree with you that that's not the map that I would go for first as Germany, but I think it's more of a comfort pick right there rather than anything else. We can see, I believe that's the settler wagons that are coming on the side of Ungers. What is the first shipment on the side of Tabben? Is going, we can see, for the stable and probably the Ulans, while on the other side we don't see the 7 step riders. Instead, he's gonna go straight into his Fortress Age, probably thanks to the treasures and everything. He feels very comfortable right there, just purely edging up, purely going to the next stage, and it's gonna be a very, very nice timing right there. I wouldn't be surprised if he can click basically at 5 minutes 40 maximum, and he's gonna be able to build that with a lot of villagers before the Ulans even can start to threaten his base, which is really, really good.
Yeah, some players can get exceptionally fast age ups with China, and it is worth to eat all that livestock to get to that third age, gather up the coin crates as fast as possible. As soon as those coin crates come in, effectively you can jump to the third age as soon as you gather all your resources. I know it sounds pretty like rule number one basic, but the faster you get up there, or the faster the wonder gets down, you got a bit more breathing space in case you get raided and you have to kind of garrison the villas. That age at wonder will continuously build without any villagers on it. So once it's down, it's just constantly gaining for you. 4 Uhlans will come in, not a 5 batch. Having said that, though, where's the other 2? This looks like a 2+2, or yeah, okay, 2 gone north. Oh my god, one
going down.
Treasure Guardian. He might not even win that.
Yeah, he might not, and we can see here that the militia is being spawned.
Oh,
and
what a
those
catch!
militiamen-
What a catch! Oh no, Ungers, what's happened here? What a catch! And sorry to
that's-
interrupt, Canoe, but this is super important. Quite
Yeah.
often, you want to try and maybe bait out the Chinese Minutemen before they throw down a wonder, because then you're like, oh my god, I need to find another 80 coin, 80 food, but the wonder's down. So
Indeed.
that Minuteman is basically somewhat free. It will pay for himself to keep the cav away. He can build the wonder. And Ungers is like, oh my god, I need to come in with my second batch of cavalry. He hasn't really argued anything, and now has to force the agenda. But the age up's like halfway done, and surely it's going to be intervention musketeers on the age up, or at least some sort of anti-cav.
Either the intervention musketeer with chain dows, that's for sure. Probably intervention musketeer, yeah, right there. If he's already on, no, oh, it's gonna be the meteor armor. I'm quite surprised. Maybe he's not on the English consulate yet. Maybe he hasn't revoked yet. Yeah, we can see that he's still on the French consulate. Maybe he wants a little bit more crates, and that's it. I don't know how meteor armor fare against Uhlan. I believe because of the mass, Uhlans are probably still better, but we can see already a few pikes hitting the field right there, thanks to the Summer Palace, and China Mass is being uncontested. China Eco is uncontested at this point, which is really not a good point. Sure, the TP is going to fall down, but that's not going to be a big stop in the snowball of China. At least it's not going to completely stop the progression of China right there. Even if the shipment curve is going to be a little bit halted, we can see the Explorer here dying. What is going to be the next shipment? That's the big question right here. Is he gonna go greed? Do he feels? Nah, he's gonna go into arquebusiers. Okay, interesting. He feels quite safe to go into arquebusiers right there. Not threatened, at least, by the cavalry there. So yeah, China just in a nice position on the other side. Ungers, has he gone for any of his greedy shipments? So he's gonna edge up with his exiled prince. He hasn't sent Silversmith yet. He has only sent crates, 700 coin and wood, and now he's gonna wait for a big shipment in H3. What would you go for, Harrison, if you were in this position?
Oh, I mean, you kind of have to start getting a skirmisher mass going. Your skirms dominate versus China's skirms. China's are terrible until they're at least carded, but they always, if they want more skirms, they have to train other units at the same time. So you always get a skirm advantage. You kind of poke away. The early Meteor Hammers is fine here for Tabben. I'm kind of... The thing with Ungers, he went for that extra cav batch, but did nothing with it. So he had to send in the coin to kind of get enough resources to age up. Whereas potentially he could have done a 2-setter wagon or a silversmith and cut that last batch, because he wasn't really ever showing any intention to go in and do damage. The Meteor Hammers there from Tabben was to get the snare on the cavalry if Ungers went for the attack. Therefore, you can call in Disciples, call in Rifle Minutemen, and kind of pick up those H2 units and at least trade off. I mean, there's a lot of cav here from Germany, which he really wants to upgrade before he takes the first fight. I think he will, and that's going to be a big power spike for him, which he has. Yeah, look at that.
Indeed, gonna be a good power spike. Another power spike could have been, for example, the Jaeger shipment, as you said, skirmisher, supermassive, very important in this matchup, and we can see he wasn't able to afford that shipment. Maybe next, but the macro is not looking towards that objective, at least not for now. Maybe Uhlan combat could be, Cav combat could be a good next card, or just simply 7 skirmisher right there in order to follow up. We can see that Ungers is posturing on the map right there, as you said, better skirmisher, so he can go on the map, he can try to poke and get the mass of China a little bit down, but the first trades are going in favor right there of Germany, actually. Yeah, big commit right there. I wasn't expecting Violan to just dive in. They are going in right there. We can see very few packs on
China. There's no anti-cav. He's gone greedy with the French wood crates, porcelain tower. There's no British musketeers in red coat in melee mode. There's no anti-cav. This is This is dire news. Riflemen do come out, more cav batch come out, but that's not going to stop the high attack cavalry of the Uhlans. And Micha Hammers are pretty poor in combat anyway. Iron Flowers only good versus skirmishers, and more reinforcing skirmishers on the way behind. This has been a bit of a clean. There's no pike Minutemen, and another batch of Uhlans are crossing the map.
Indeed, and still no English consulate right there, still no redcoats. Intervention, it's gonna come without the English consulate being selected right there. Oh, pop. Are they gonna spawn once English is selected? I don't even know, but
That's fine, it's fine. But it doesn't matter though, because there's too many skirms here for it, and it's not going to protect anything. They're on their own. They have to fight themselves. Cav will come out. Oh, nice little play onto the skirmishers, and that gets some good kills. The Iron Flails on it, and the redcoats will push them away. But look at the skirms. They've already killed 2. 3 is going to go down behind, and yeah,
I don't see an out right there for Tabben. Yeah, it's completely clean right there. His mass is completely clean. Sure, there are not enough skirmishers, but I'm pretty sure there is a big ball of unit that is building up into Ungers base right there. Yeah, we can see a lot more Uhlans. That's the 9 Uhlans shipment right there. Still more skirmisher rallying on the way, and the houses start to be sieged right there on the side of Ungers. I don't see how Tabben can recover from this, because that's a lot of siege. That's a lot of units. He needs a ton of anti-cav, which is not something that China can quickly invest into, especially at that stage in the game. That's going to be complicated right there for Tabben. Chengdao swordmen, sure, but there is nothing to kill the skirmishers, so the Chengdaos are just going to die slowly but very surely right there. Can he get a good pop though onto the Ulan? That's the big question right there. Can he get a few good swings? Yes, he can. He might kill 1 or 2 Ulans, but that's clearly not going to be enough. The Chengdaos are being picked off by the skirmisher. The musketeer on the other side still doing some work right there, but it's not. Is it enough? Is it enough, Harrison? No.
I'll tell you what, though, Ungers is doing a very good job of sending 3 Uhlans in at a time to their death. But luckily, the skirms were able to kind of whistle away from behind. Wow, the game's been called, and Ungers takes the first game, and I think we can see what's happened here was Tabben got greedy. He stayed French consulate with Porcelain Tower, and was not expecting the early commit there from Ungers. Ungers only really pushed in with 1 card of units, which is not what you normally do. You'd rather wait until maybe 2 German cards come up. I mean, their shipments are very strong. He only had a 2-unit composition. I was kind of waiting for Dops to be the second card to kind of pad out that unit composition and punish any Micha Hammers charging in. But he saw there was only 4 1 HP Minutemen pikemen, 3 pikemen from the Old Han, 1 monk with no disciples produced, and quite a lot of Chinese melee cavalry, but they're not good in cav-on-cav fights. They are a glue to maybe tank damage, while the Changdaos, the Redcoats, and other stuff do work behind. And Ungers saw his opportunity, and to his credit, he evaluated the game position at that time and thought, I'm diving in. This is an opportunity. I've got to go for it.
Yeah, I think you as well. We were both surprised by just how decisive this engagement was. No hesitation. He saw the mass of his opponent. He just went in his head, go. You know, which at a timing in which usually, as you said, you want to wait for cav combat, you want to wait for a second big shipment into H3. He said, no, I'm just gonna go, I feel fine. And he absolutely smashed the Chinese army right there that wasn't ready for such a massive cav. I saw in the chat, guys, apparently there are a few levels issue. Is there something too loud? Is there something not loud enough? Baron will make sure to check that in order to get the levels right. I saw some conflicting messages, so please tell us who is too loud. Is it the game or is it me? But yeah.
Vivid is asking for more Kanoki, and Mahonga's saying less Kanoki. So maybe one speaking banter and one speaking the truth. I don't know.
That's why I'm asking for clarification right there. But
you are a noble person of the community, a sensible head on your shoulders, on your massive shoulders, massive arms. What on earth is going on? Tell us the levels. Anyway, so I find that game really interesting, and when our Ungers scoreboard is updated, cough cough cough, really, really value the 300 export shipment in the Chinese deck, which Tabben
100,
didn't
yeah.
have. And that allows you to switch one constant to another. So, regardless if you open up Russian or French, I like to kind of do Russian more often than not, especially on last look maps. You can then pivot to the third age with 6 Redcoat Musketeers on the field ready to go straight away, which would have done, push when any cav presence. But then he's then ready, available for intervention, or at least then gathering the export up for his next 6th batch because he's switched over with. French constant is good, but I mean, if you're going for the porcelain tower, that is your wood income, and I don't really know how you spend. There's no. You're never going to produce out of 2 racks from China for a long time, and there's always a temptation to kind of get like Markitex and all that, but it just slows down the unit production. And
Yeah, you just need mass.
But the build order was slightly wrong there from Tabben.
Yeah, especially the decision for me that killed it pretty much was the 5 meteor hammers. I don't think the meteor hammers fare very well against the Uhlans, and I cannot see how they are better in order to just stay into your base than, as we said, the Red Coat Musketeer, the Chengdaos, more arquebuses. Even the Manchus could have been good right there. You still have to afford them, of course, but maybe a bit questionable of a decision, but regardless, very, very nice play by Ungers right there to just jump in.
Yeah, I'm just going to listen back to the sound of I want to find out who is right, who is wrong. I'm back in 2 ticks.
Oh yeah, you're gonna listen to the stream, yeah. Igor pulled the switch. Yeah. Man, when someone talk about Igor, I cannot stop thinking about the guy that is doing some baroque metal, French guy. It's absolutely awesome, guys. If you like metal, listen to some Igor. It's absolutely insane. But hey, next game. Which map is it gonna be onto? I'm trying to remember. It was Punjab into... What is the second map? I can't remember. Gotta see which civilization the player are gonna pick in a few seconds, guys. Apparently Monkpile... Okay, Civ picks out... Oh, ATP map, I believe, because we can see Lakota and the Ottoman being picked right there, so... Basically, maximum ATP energy on both sides. Is it the map Scandinavia with the pounds on both sides? Is that the second map? I believe it was yesterday. I am not 100% sure.
I think you're referring to the word the sea.
The sea, exactly. The sea on both sides.
Upon employ it implies it's landlocked, and no. I know what you mean. It's casual language. It's like quite often I always say like, oh yeah, Ottoman age up here with 3 Huss and gonna send the 5 Huss. Everyone's like, no, it's not Hussars. It's a Delhi shipment. They're called Delhis. I'm like, oh, but you know what I mean.
Oh, and man, some big names in the chat today. Julian K, Robert. We saw a little bit earlier. Big Aza, I believe, is also in the chat. So welcome, guys. And yeah. Big games in this tourney. So Scandinavia, Lakota was picked first, I believe. Ottoman was very likely second pick, so that's basically an Ottoman counter pick into Lakota. We'll see how it goes. For Tabben right there.
I've just realized what map this is. What?
It's Scandinavia. So Scandinavia means a lot of fishes. So we could see some fish on the side of Tabben, and I believe we are ready to go into the game.
Yeah, welcome back, guys. Game number 2 here on the round 16 between Ungers and Tabben. One Scandinavia. We're looking currently at Tabben, spawning down to the southwest of the map in the colour red, playing as the Ottoman Empire. Ungers playing as the Lakota, spawning to the northeast in the colour blue. Ungers picked the Lakota after he won the first game, and it's going to be alternating pick throughout the rest. Tabben countered with the Ottomans, but Tabben counter picking with Ottomans into Lakota. It doesn't feel right. And also on a map where there's I suppose water is a decent option. I feel Dakota is the type of Civ just to kind of ignore it and just walk into your town centre and tear it down. We'll have to find out kind of how Osman plays, but I don't feel that this is a fantastic Ottoman map, is what I'm trying to get at. And I suppose resources are pretty decent. Osman don't really need resources, and looking at Tabben's deck there, he's not looking for any fishing, so I guess maybe straight F. I actually don't really know what he's going to do with this.
Yeah, me neither. Also, a big thing on that map is that the wood line, if you look at the base of either player, you will see that there is very few safe wood in the base, which means that if you are playing against the Civ, for example, like Lakota, they can very easily come and raid your wood villagers if you are trying to go on the sea. So that's something very specific to this map in particular, but which make the option to go water a little less safe than it would be on maps with more defensive wood line, let's say, or more defensible trees, basically. So Tabben on his side, he's gonna go for TP Mosque start with 3 villager. On his side, Ungers will see if is he gonna secure the advanced trading post as soon as he edge up. That's a possibility as Lakota. There are 2 TPs, 2 safe TPs at the back of the base. Very heavy, as we see H2 play right there. All of the Bison card, all of the hunting card in order to generate as much resources as possible. And I have to agree with you. I'm not sure Ottoman is a proper counter pick right there. We'll see. I have to say I'm not an expert in the matchup. If anyone in the chat has more insight, feel free to share, guys. But yeah, we'll see how the players, which way the players decide to go. The chief right there.
Yeah, pardon my French, Kanoki, but when you say advanced train post, I hope you mean stagecoach and Tekken.
Yeah, exactly.
Because advanced train post is completely different, and you would not send ATP on a map where you can only get 2 train posts. It'd be a very strategical call there. So, but you're like, I think when we got to the map, you're like, oh, this is gonna be a fantastic ATP map. I'm like, okay, so we're playing Central Plains, we're playing maybe Mexico, and when once I found out Scandinavia, I was like, oh, hang on a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah, not ATP, stagecoach, my bad. Yeah. That's my French right there. Showing a little bit a few translation I haven't got right. But we can see on his side, Tabben is clearly going for the stagecoach right there, and we can see on the other side, Ungers is basically doing the same. So both of those Civs, especially Ottoman, known to have very, very slow eco, especially at the start. They will have better eco with around 8 villages worth of wood gathering from those TPs right there at the back. But that's pretty much it. That's not going to be much more. And we can see Kotoma storage up here on the side of Tabben, so it's not going to be a fast edge up. And he's sending 700 wood. So yeah, that's clearly going to be H2 play. 700 wood that early, maybe just want some infrastructure right there. But I have to say I am quite surprised. Quite surprised with that choice right there. And same on the side of Ungers. He's also going into 700 wood. But to me, that's less. He still has the chief edge up. So yeah, I'm quite surprised that both of them are going into 700 wood right there. I wonder what they are looking at from those 700 wood.
Wow. Okay. So we've seen a lot happen. 400 wood's fine. That's gonna be like, I would have thought that would have been something like 1 production facility, maybe 1 house, and chop for a stagecoach upgrade on your TP line. But 700 wood behind means you probably want a 2nd production facility, stagecoach. And if you go in a Jans, you might be tempted for artillery foundry there for the Abus gun, Jan Abus. We saw Ungers' forward villages. I think they were scouted, so he's gone back defensive, stable, but now throwing down the forward war hut as a result. I think Ungers himself is tempted for 700 wood, and both players going on these similar ideas. It's interesting because this map is not a guaranteed land TP layout. It can also be naval, so that the TP's got the size of the map, which means the stagecoach play is kind of pointless. So I assume they had ideas for whichever variation of the map spawn, but I think that both players are happy that it spawned behind and they can kind of both benefit mutually.
Indeed, and as you said, the artillery foundry is going to be thrown down, but usually it's a bit too early to start producing on 2 military buildings at that stage in the game. On the side of Ungers, you will need the 700 wood in order to afford the second TP, in order to afford it, etc. Especially if he was expecting to start cab. To me, it makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, we will have to see how it develops. At least both of them have all of the infrastructure available, ready to go. They have their stage go, so basically a very slow start from both players, very greedy with the wood. And now they are gonna look to start doing damage, start applying some pressure. We can see here the first raid. That's a lot of hyenas right there. Did he ship the hyena shipment? I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, he did.
Because that's a lot of them right there. Yeah, he did. And that's gonna be a ton of pressure into the Ottoman base. He has to be careful not to lose a single villager right there. I'm not sure if he secured all of his villas. I believe he did. Nice play right there. Nice defense by Tabben. Making sure not to lose those very precious villagers for the Ottoman in the early game. Nice early, by the way. Making sure all of the hunt is under the TC. He's gonna go back inside the TC with the villager. He needs to be careful not to take some damage from those hyenas. We can see the first Abus guns are gonna join the field. They have to focus the hyenas. The Janissaries have to focus onto the cab. And the free daily shipment right there, popping right on top of the hyenas. But nice surround by the Axe Rider right there, making sure that cavalry, those dailies, cannot deal more damage to the hyenas. However, the Janissary is going into melee against the hyenas. The Abus guns at the back, dealing more and more damage. Is that going to be enough to crack the Janissaries into the base? Is there enough blue right there to kill the Ottoman player at that stage in your game? I'm not sure, listen.
Tabben went for 2 Janissaries in that batch instead of going for a batch of 1 Janissary and saving the food required for Minutemen, and could have timed Minutemen with the delis for a Lakota cleanup, but just trying to squeeze as much of his normal Ottoman units out and not able to be calling those powerful musketeer style units from the TC when he needed them most. He has paid a heavy price for that. The Abus guns, most of them have gone down, all the Jans have gone down, and yes, he can remass now with crates, but Ungers died in underneath the town centre, and quite often you don't do that. That is so risky there from Ungers. I felt that there was a cleanup on the cards, and Ungers got lucky that Tabben didn't macro correctly for that defensive ability that town centres have.
Big thing also is that Ungers behind this he hasn't fully committed. Behind this he's transitioning, and from that I kind of like this play by him, because it forces basically the Ottoman army to trade down, and Ottoman are not good at remassing because their eco early game is quite weak, and so it's gonna be a long time before Ottoman can once again be a threat, have enough Janissaries on the map right there. We can see he had to ship 5 Janissaries right there, 2 batches of Abus. Is that gonna be enough? Is that gonna hit fast enough into Unger's base, or is Unger gonna be able to edge up fast enough in order to deal with this counter pressure right there by Tabben? That's gonna be the big game decider right there. Can Tabben do enough damage right here, right now, with that little push? 15 Janissaries, I believe, and 6 Abus guns. I'm not sure that can wipe Ungers, but we'll see if it can do enough damage.
Ungers will have enough time to ship in 5 Rifle Riders or 9 Keenan Riders from the TC. The Warhawk goes down. Tabben knows Ungers' agent. You don't raid with 1 Axe Rider if you've got like another 3 or 4 wasting around. You'd either use them all. So he's kind of seen that there's only 1 remaining and there's no more Seaton bows pushing. He can introduce there's no more units being made, and the agent's in behind. And I like this aggressive play, and just imagine if there was a couple of Humbrachis here instead of some Abus. The Jan Abus still fantastic versus units, but if there was siege troopers here right now, this could be catastrophic here for Ungers. But the agent does come in, and likely the shipment's on the way. What shipment is he going to be sending behind this? Does he even have enough XP? This is critical in the game at the moment. Oh, he's only just got his first shipment right now, and that's going to be potentially another building going down.
Yeah, but that's not a big deal at that point because he has stage coach behind, so I don't think losing the building is going to be that big of an issue. He needs just to make sure he still has something to send his shipment, and he does because of the ward, because of the TC. The next shipment is coming up. He hasn't lost a single villager. The idle time was quite short. Not a lot of units were lost in the exchange, and as we can see, 27 villager on the side of Tabbens. How many on the side of Ungers? That's going to be the big question to me. 26 actually. He lost 2 villagers on the way right there, and so now he's behind economically. Interesting turn of event right there. Having Ottoman equal on the economy is really not something normal, I would say, at that stage in the game. And good trades actually from on the side of Tabben, basically not losing a single vill during his defense.
I don't know. Well, look at this. Tabben went to be aggressive, seized stable, and ran away, but he's up against 4.4 speed skirmishers, i.e. boosted by the Lakota War Chief, and just there's no answer for this. You're just losing Jans for free here, and I don't really know what Tabben was expecting to kind of gain pushing with H2 Jans if he's looking to age behind himself, because he's always up against fast-moving units like Axe Riders, Dog Soldiers, Rifle Riders would clap Jans, Wakinas would clap the Jans, and he's just given away maybe 6 Jans in the retreat because he just couldn't contest, and that was some really good micro there from Ungers to make the most of a, you know, he got counter-pushed, and he managed to kind of bat it off just about with the age up and rebuilding stable, and the shipment came in a little bit later, he couldn't quite use it, but actually got himself some good returns as a result of some nice micro there.
Yeah, and we can see both players getting up slowly but very surely. Still no upgrades on the side of Tabben. The big question is, which way is Ungers going? That's going to be my big question right there. Tabben waiting for his next shipment. He's a long way away. He's very far away from his next shipment right there. Tabben has to move onto a more exposed mine at that stage of the game because he mined a lot for all of those abus. On his side, next shipment is gonna come on the side of Ungers, and he's gonna go for villagers. I like this. I really like this. Making sure to take the lead economically right there. Is he gonna kill villager? Yes, nicely played right there. A lot of abuse guns, but a lot of skirmisher on the other side. The cavalry is gonna try to dive in right there. Isn't that a little bit dangerous? Because as you said, the messenger, the Bashibo-Zooks were not used earlier in the game. There you go. The Bashibo-Zooks are popping. Is he gonna be able to get the snare? That's gonna be the big turning point right there. No, he's not gonna be able to snare the entire army right there. And overall, very nice play right there by Ungers, making sure that his opponent wastes quite a lot of resources right here, kills a villager on the way as well, and secures basically his big villager shipment at the back. So nicely played by him, and Sipais are gonna join the field very quickly.
I would have got baited by going in there because I looked at position thinking, I'd go in because what is it? Ungers had elite Axe Riders with a full HP Lakota Explorer backed up by elite skirmishers of the King Rifle. Both those Jan Abus only age 2. That was on the table. I thought that could be a good fight there for Ungers' point of view. But I think he knew that there's the trapping potential because of how Tabben was moving backwards, and obviously he knows the Bashi Bosok threat. You remember that. I would have been like, maybe not. But I think from Ungers' point of view, he's also thinking, what if 5 gaddies spawned from the TC at that point from home shitty shipment? What if 5 Spahis hit the field at that point? That would have been game over. Ungers knows he's just shipped 8 villagers, so he doesn't really want to get caught out. He can trade-ish. He can trade well, but not evenly, because it takes time for the vills to kind of invest and produce villagers. Huge raid here, but the Jans are nearby. And
he's gonna connect. Yeah, he's just gonna back off right there. He's not gonna commit. Nicely played right there. You don't want to lose your mass at that timing.
I like that. Ungers realizes actually that killing Ottoman villagers is not actually super critical for Ottoman because their vills always train. He needs to keep all those units alive for an engagement, which is about to happen soon. Those Bahis are on the field, and as soon as they touch Burkina rifles, there's going to be bloodshed. So Ungers wants as much hand cavalry on the field to block them, to trade them off. He has the Rifle Riders to deal with basically all the units as well, and it's up to both players to see how they can micro this. And Ungers is moving in with his skirmishers to engage with the Aegis guns.
I think he wants to wait for Cav combat right there, not go straight into the fight right here. Okay, be careful, mate, because the Sipais, they are gonna fight the fight. They are gonna get the snare right there. The fight is gonna be forced. Can Lakota survive that fight? Remember, the villagers have not played yet. The cavalry combat is not in yet. We can see the Janissary is moving forward right there, getting the sabers out. The scimitars are out, and still 2 spies alive and swinging into the skirmish Thomas right there, making sure they get the snare, and so the Janissaries can still move forward. The Abyssins can still move forward. Is that a good trade actually for Ungers? I think he's shaping up quite nicely right there. A very equal trade basically. Both players losing quite the same amount. The Sipai shipment is not going to be a threat anymore, but that skirmisher mass is not going to survive, I believe. Yeah, all that skirmisher mass might die from this engagement. It's gonna survive. Nice.
Everyone in the chat saying Jans only go forward. And actually, if the Jans only went forward then and cornered off those skirms would have likely died. Ungers was lucky there, to be honest, because he almost threw the game big time because he was sending the cav combat as we was talking about, but he was also training a batch of 5 Wakinas, 5 rifle riders, and blamed in all his cavalry before those rifle riders were on the field and be able to reinforce. With those extra 5s behind, those axe riders at the front would have, still went down and died, but they would have tanked enough damage to make sure that those extra rifle riders behind would have killed all the spies. And then the Wakinas would be onto the Jans. So maybe Ungers was out of place and got engaged, or maybe he got a bit too, not greedy, but just like,
confident.
Oh, I've got an opportunity here. I can put the cavalry do this, the Wakinas do that, but he just needed to wait for an extra 12 seconds, not even 15. Just buy a little bit more time.
How much coin is that going to be? Damn, that's going to be 1,000 coin right there. Over 1,100 coin right there are going to be received by Lakota.
Fromage.
Oh! 2 falconets shooting. Boom! Nice shot right there. 3 working rifle are going to go down. And the siege is going to start on the side of Tabben. And since the cavalry mass was basically annihilated during the last fight, he can now look to push onto the map, while if Ungers still had his mass, his entire mass of cavalry, he wouldn't be able to move on the map like that, Tabben that is. So interesting play right there. Still, we can see behind this Tabben, he's going for a second TC on the north side of the map. Is he going to throw the third TC on the south side of the map? That's going to be the question right there. On another mine, it doesn't look like it, at least not yet.
Ungers is so you're saying that food card. He's also got stagecoach on food. He's waiting for the 18-minute timer mark for the big button from the TC. He's called extra 5 cav there, so he might be down to about 1,500 res. Need to rethink about it because calling it in, that's a little bit cheaper than I thought it was. 1,800 res. It was down from 2k, and this timing with 6 dog soldiers. Yeah, 6 dog soldiers plus the axes. There's not really much anti-cav here because Tabben's been making town centres, and this is going to be a clean-up on aisle 3, and those jams are not going to be enough. Even if the Wakina go down, there's nothing protecting those Aegis guns behind. This is a fantastic engagement. Rifle riders ripping through the Jans, and Ottoman army is just gone, deleted.
Yeah, completely deleted right there. The Takola Soldier plus, remember, the Community Plaza Wardens at the back for maximum damage right there. Excellent timing by Ungers, completely cleaning up his opponent, and now he's going to be able to move forward with all of his cav. Maybe he's going to try to punish his opponent economically right now. As you said, very few anti-cav on the side of Tabben. No, I can't remember how they are called, the guys with the bows and the pike at the back, the Azaps. No Azaps, no cavalry archers, only Janissaries. And at that point in the game, Janissaries, they are not that good against cavalry anymore. They quite fall off in those big fortress edge engagement right there. So nice play here by Ungers.
I mean, the real problem with the Jans... Yeah, the real problem with the Jans is they're into melee mode, which is absolutely fine, but they bring them to the front line of the army, and that's just easy pickings for Wakina and rifle riders. And considering how fast the rifles fire, they just mow down Jans, one move from one Jan to another with not much overkill. It's fantastic. Nice Explorer buyback. Gets the snare on the Wakinas, and quite a few of those go down to some Aegis guns supporting fire. Ungers will have to back up, but he's on to 55 Vils now, and with that Community Plaza, just a little bit of dancing for fertility kind of helps that economy grow. I think, yeah, you said it well as well. The war dance from the Community Plaza was a unsung hero there. All those units would be so much more efficient, plus 24% attack bonus on their final stats. Remember, it's on their final stats. So Cav Combat, Elite upgrades, then times it by 1.24, and that you get your final damage attack, and it's so strong.
And as Baron was pointing out, we are going to see an H4 right there. That's almost pretty sure at that point that he's gonna go H4. We can see he's putting actually a few units in the queue. Is he gonna go? Nah, he changes his mind. He's gonna stay in H3 there. He's not gonna edge up yet, but we can see the resources very, very close to do so. So we might see an H4 right there on the side of Ungers. He feels very confident. He is ahead, both economically, both in terms of mass, compared to his opponent. He has more than enough Rifle Riders to deal with any Cav threat. He has enough Wakinas to one-shot the Cav Archers in case they become a problem. So yeah, Ungers looking to be in an excellent position right there. This game, what's happening? Oh yeah, that's just and that's gonna be denied, sure, but the villagers are gonna just walk on the other side of the map. I believe there are still a few mines available on the south side of the map. Cavalry combat coming on the side of the Ottoman. It's gonna be good for the Cav Archers, but are the Cav Archers gonna win the game at that point? I'm not sure. At least 12 is not gonna be enough. Maybe if he reaches 20, it's gonna be enough, considering Unger's mass right there.
I think Ungers has just seen Tabben now move into Cav Archer himself, and with quite a lot of melee hand cavalry still on the field, I think Ungers might realise that his army is just not cut out. He can't really win the skirm war convincingly, considering how good Abus are. Let's look at Ungers. Is he going to age up behind? Because I think he'd be tempted to kind of go for that tech. No, he's just double batched Bow Rider. He's gone for Cav Combat, Cav Attack as well, and I'm sure he'll be doing some war fighting as well. The thing is, those Wakinas are going down pretty quickly to the Abus guns. He's going to move in. Bow Rider's very good versus pretty much everything they touch, and kind of blocking the way for the hand Cav. Now they've gone in, but it's the focus. As soon as the Cav Archers and the Oxman go down, there's not really much to kill the remaining Bow Rider units, and your Jams now going to melee.
Not enough wardens behind this, not enough wardens, and the tankiness of the units of Tabben is actually posing trouble here to the Lakota army. Is the lack of wardens going to be enough? Right there, I believe Ungers is losing way more than he should at that point in the game. As I say that, a lot of the Janissaries are finally falling, but I believe Ottoman has enough eco to remise behind this. The Cav Archers are going to hold. Some Abus are going to deal damage to those Bow Riders, and to me, that looks like an Ottoman win at that point. At least it's a fight that Ottoman should not be winning, considering that the community plaza is a thing, and 24 villagers could have been committed onto it, 25 actually, and only 8 were committing on the plaza. Still, the chase is in favor of Ungers right there. I think Tabben just has to stop the bleeding and wait for his TC to outproduce his opponent. Yeah, completely retreat, mates. Wait for your reinforcement and stuff. But nice play, in my opinion, by Tabben in this site.
Yeah, I've just spotted that Tabben's out of gold realistically, and he hasn't scouted the gold mine on the far west of the map. It's on the edge of the map. It's really hard to see, and all Ottoman's resources is on wood. He's just gathering wood for the sake of gathering wood, and if they were still gathering hunts and gold, I'd be backing Tabben to continuously mass in and outmass what Ungers has remaining, but this lack of access to natural resources or remaining natural resources, there's nothing left for him.
Indeed, he cannot juice back an army here from nowhere. He cannot produce, basically, because of that lack of resources. He's gonna try to take a good fight right there under his TC. Can he pop some Bashibos onto those Wakina rifles? That's gonna be important. No, he doesn't have the coin. He needs the coin right there. Yes, pop it. There you go. Bashibos are gonna pop. Can he completely clean the Wakinas? He absolutely needs that fight to go in his favor if he wants to have a chance to continue this game. Actually, that's a nice run here with the villagers, with the Bashibos. Is that gonna be enough? The villagers are not shooting. They need to shoot onto those Wakina rifles. We can see the Abus guns are doing absolute wonder right there in this fight, going melee. Actually, that's a new option for them. But yeah, the Bashibos are just gonna clean the Wakina rifle. Oh, that's a big patch, I believe, of rifle riders that is gonna come as reinforcement right there. A bow rider actually coming back into the fight. Is he gonna be able to commit onto all of those villagers? They are extremely low on HP. They are not going to be able to survive. The bow rider arriving right there. A few villagers are going to go down. And I believe, as you said, the lack of coin is going to completely seal the deal here for Tabben.
Yeah, can we just have a look? I'm not going crazy. I think there's a coin on the west side of the map. Yeah, there it is. It's on the edge. It's just so out of the line of sight. You can show you the line of sight. I don't think you've seen it. I mean, it's good. It's taken us 25 minutes to see it. I don't think he's seen it at all.
Oh,
That's Ungers' point of view. Talking about Tabben point of view. No, he has. Oh god, look at it! It's so brutal. He hasn't seen it. Oh no.
That's brutal. Yeah, that's brutal right there.
The real question is though from Tabben is why has he not teched into ASAPs behind us? He knows that Ungers is making a lot of bow riders and he has a lot of wood. There's some food remaining on berries around the place. He's back on hunt top side. ASAPs are a very good unit actually, just in general. But Ungers with essentially full map control is just starting to kind of overwhelm Tabben, and Tabben throwing down some outposts just to say, actually, please stay underneath this and take some damage. But they build so slow, they're doing so low damage, and Ungers just going to milk some Ottoman villagers and having a good time here.
I mean, if we look at the bottom of the screen, bottom left, we can see that a third TC has come up on the side of Ottoman right there. So I don't know if Tabben feels safe or if he just want to spend his wood, and I believe that's the third option.
He does not feel safe. He does not feel safe. He's like 2 seconds away from the resign button.
That's not gonna work. He lost basically 20 vil in the last 2 minutes right there, and we can see too much mass here under this TC. There is no villager to kill anymore right there. He's just gonna go back, Ungers that is, remass again, go for the middle TC where there is no outpost, where there is no villager in garrison, and just take that one instead. And that's basically 500 wood down the drain, and as you said, it could have been ASAPs. And that frigate, it's not gonna achieve a lot right there. It's being contested by your warhead. There is no military unit to kill at that point on that side of the map, at least. So yeah, I don't know. The lack of ASAP is really, really surprising to me as well, as you pointed out. Because that seems like the logical transition right there. You have some wood to spare, to spend. Your opponent is going into basically a lot of cavalry, so ASAP will do well. But instead, he tries to secure the map control with some town center and outpost, and fails to do so. And we can see on the opposite side, Ungers is going himself into triple TC, and that is gonna seal the deal for real. Because as soon as Ottoman cannot outboom in this game, I don't see a comeback. 67 vil versus basically 35 at that point. And going into H4, yeah, I don't see a comeback right there for Tabben.
It's a 55 vil actually, but there's quite a lot of idle villain behind. I think the H4 behind Tabben's kind of hoping that Ungers is spending all the resources, and this is all he has on the map. But the H4 behind, maybe it's Wiseman and the Bisons. That would make logical sense. There'll be a lot of extra resources if he does it. Yeah, Wiseman. Just oh my god, look at the brown on the map. Someone's just taken a massive doo-doo and just dropped a lot of the Bisons. There's so much food. It's also hunting rate as well. So Ungers is happy just to keep on this game going longer and longer and longer, and Tabben's like, actually, hang on a minute, I'm out of shipments as well. Ungers can just send in 20% all unit HP. He can send in probably like an 18 Wakina, probably send in like an 8 Axe Rider, all the good stuff behind. He's most likely looking for a Age 4 upgrade, most likely for the Bow Riders, I'd say. Tabben, if he needs a miracle, he needs to call the AAA team. That is the AZAP Avis Gun Cav Archer combo. But he needs to do it pretty quick, and maybe he might just like accidentally tech in gaslighting and town watch, and then finally reveal that coin one, because he's going with docks now just to try and get some extra resources. But look at Ungers on the south side of the map. He's also going water, but he's going for a couple canoes just to make sure he's locked down this side of the water first. That's a nice little touch. I like that.
I like that as well. And going water right there for Ungers, even if he's ahead, it's making sure he's gonna have access to coin for the late game right there. He still has access to 2 mines, but like making sure that he can have some income from the sea is a very nice touch right there. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for a contest on the North Sea as well. He's gonna pick up more villagers right there. Tabben is still bleeding. He lost the TC as well on the front side, as we could see. Okay, another frigate. What is that gonna achieve? To be fair, I'm not sure that's the correct choice. Yeah, GG. GG right there by Ungers. Very nice play. Really very decisive engagement in the middle game with that big button from the TC. The dog soldier, the Takola soldier, I believe, completely crushing the fight right there. The pop with the wardens at the back. GG. Very nice play here by Ungers. Securing the 2. Oh, damn.
Wow, and that middle fight there, right in the middle of the game, that big drop for Ottoman, that was backed, thankfully, for the Great Hunter card, which was sent later in the game due to the scaling properties of the getting more food for each hunt you've gathered so far. So you got like a 1,200 food shipment plus 20% eco on food, was insane. He spent that for 5 Axe Riders and the Dog Soldier Big Button and took a fantastic fight there. And that kind of got Ungers in a decent position. I mean, both players played really well there. Both had a couple of engagement timings slightly off, but easy for the War Chief, I guess. I guess Tabben didn't keep on marching forward with the Jans. That was one. That's what everyone's saying in the chat. Was you have to keep on marching forward, and yeah.
I'm not sure also about the Ottoman as a counter pick to Lakota. Maybe it is, but Ungers played really well, you know, to basically throw off the Ottoman early game with a very aggressive timing right there with the hyenas. Sure, he dived. Sure, the macro was not the best on the side of Tabben. He couldn't use the Bashibojux in order to counter push right there, in order to completely clean Ungers' army. But maybe that's precisely because you are not used to being pressured that early as Ottoman. You feel like you are going to be the one with the tempo, and suddenly you have you know, a few guys with bows and axes rushing into your base and completely cleaning your army. And I think that was a really nice move right there by Ungers, despite the counter attack, losing to villager, then going into some grid, you know, making sure that he secures the economy. Really nice play by him overall. And yes, guys, those are best of 7 next series. Sure, we will have Soldier versus Izad in the next series, but before at least 2 more matches, Ungers versus Tabben. But yeah, was the sound balance better this game, guys? Make sure to tell us if I am still too loud or if we are okay.
I'm glad that's the thing you're worried about after a game like that. Like, I'm sure you sound, Kanoki. You always sound amazing, and I just sit here and enjoy with the biggest smile on my face how happy you get when a fight starts. Like you go into overdrive, you go to 211, as they say. You'll have a great career ahead of you as a horse racing commentator. I've never seen a non-native spit his words out as fast as you do.
I mean, like, yeah. So sometimes I confuse a few of them, so that might be the reason why they can go out fast.
Here come a double batch of the Rough Riders. no, they're the bow riders. The bow riders are coming online.
Exactly. It sounds a little bit French. Yeah, guess why? Guess why, Bernal?
Yeah, I
Guess
misheard
why?
it. You were checking out the A's app, but from what I heard, I was like, you're like, oh, what's that unit called with the cav with an archer on its back? Well, what's that called? I'm like, cav archer?
No, it was not the cav. I was talking about the guys with the bow and the pike. You know, because they have both a bow and a pike, the ESOPs. But yeah, there you go. Next map, it's gonna be I can't remember the map, but for sure we're gonna have the Dutch, and I believe you really like the Dutch, Harrison. And on the other side, we will have India, and the map is gonna be Bengal. So a non-TP map with a few livestock. So very, very nice. Yeah, he's roasting me, and I like it. I like it. I'm gonna compliment him as well on his Dutch build order. You know, where you start with the 300 wood. I tried that thing, and it was actually fine. I really like it, to be fair. But hey,
yeah. Right. We
and
yeah, we are getting to the next one. Right? Straight in there. This is the third game of our best of 7 series. Ungers leading the series 2-0 for the time being, but the games we've seen so far have been pretty close. That last game was an exceptionally close one. We've now spawned in on Bengal. Ungers spawned to the northwest in the colour blue, playing as the Dutch. Tabben spawned to the northeast in the colour red. Both players alternate their civ picks, so Tabben has decided to go with the Indians on Bengal, and Ungers is replying with the Dutch, which I don't disagree. I think it's these two civs you often see in a no TP map in a tournament setting. It's a relatively even matchup. I don't think either civ really has an advantage. I'd actually say that India slightly edges over Dutch when played correctly. And I think at the highest level, India has such a high skill ceiling. They have so many other tools they can use to their advantage. I think it's looking pretty good. Nice big treasure early on here from Tabben. 100 food. Got a couple yak scouts as well. But that big envoy, that fat boy at the bottom of the map, he's picking up some good yaks as well.
Indeed. And one of the things that I really like when your opponent is picking India is indeed to pick Dutch as a response on non-TP map, because if you pick either Aztec or Russia, you know, there is always that big Agra fort that is going to cause you so much trouble if you try to pressure India, instead going into a more greedy matchup, which is what I prefer myself. And we will see here if Ungers is going to do well with that Dutch pick. At least 3 yaks right there, probably a 4th, maybe a 5th, thanks to his Explorer, which is going to be really, really nice in order to boost his eco early game with a few banks. And we can see on the other side, Tabben is going to go for a forward Agra fort, which is quite surprising to me, I have to say. Forward Agra fort, but since he's not building with any villager, I don't think we are going to see pressure. Oh, wait, it's actually a 10-10. No. Yeah, there you go.
It was.
It was a 10-10, but he's not building with any villagers. So is that going to be an all-in? But like kind of a slow edge up into an all-in? That's quite surprising to me. I don't know.
He picked up that 100 food treasure in the middle of the map, so that's kind of got him going pretty quickly. And maybe his macro was slow to adjust. That's maybe. Well, I guess he's like, oh, I got this extra food. Maybe I can jump and commit to the early age up, and then go get the house, go get the villagers, which he's done behind the Agra fort placement. I like it, kind of. I'd have loved it to be on the islands in front of his position. Yeah. He's kind of really southern of the mid-map choke, and is not actually cutting off that middle access. So Ungers doesn't actually have to walk into the Agra fort if he wants to get to the base. He can walk past it. It's still risky, and I imagine the tempo of this game will be actually Tabben will be going into Ungers' base. So it probably won't be a massive factor. It's just a bit far away. Like, talking about shipment points, spawn points, tempo timings, consulate coming down early in transition here from Tabben. Is this going to be... No, we're not going to see a British consulate rush, are we, from Tabben? Maybe early Ottoman consulate for Vils, and then get a timing ready to go with the Delhi tech and Sour's play maybe behind. But if he does go for Brit consulate first, I'd be surprised.
In the chat, I can see some 7 Sepoy plus 4 Sour kind of pressure, but that's not gonna be the case, guys. He's gonna go into diplomatic intrigue right there. He's not gonna look to put much pressure onto Dutch eco right there, and I'm not surprised because no villager in order to build that agra fort, so I would have been very surprised if we would have seen a rush right there. He's gonna likely go into Ottoman allies, I believe, for greed, or maybe, as you said, he's gonna go for the English in order to dive under VTC, but diving under VTC without some sowers seems fishy to me. The first bank is coming down right there, and we can see Dutch. He's just gonna, you know, park into his base right there, nice and cozy. Front wood though, all of his wood line are at the front of the base, which might be an issue for him.
You and your wood lines, Kanoki. What is it? You and the
mate.
trees? Save the trees.
Save the trees, boys. No, but actually, that's the thing. You know, you are being pressured because your wood is in the front, and suddenly you cannot build your second bank or your third bank. Of course, he's gonna have the shipment with the 700 wood, but already there, he was forced to. You see, he was forced to idle 2 times in a row right there because his resources are at the front. So. Yeah, quite unfortunate for him right there. What is he building at the back? Is that his second bank plus a racks? No, it's a racks and a market. Okay, there you go. Racks plus market right there. The racks are likely to get some skirmisher, and we can see the delis coming into the base right there. Can they kill a villager or two? For sure, they are gonna make sure the villagers are gonna be idle into VTC. The racks needs to go up. The racks cannot go up.
On the
Villager is going down.
that walk that that is, he's going to fish off the barracks, which is really good. Not much sepoys behind though. I really like this momentum he's got with this push, but there's no substance behind the Ottoman cavalry, and most of it has got into the TC pretty fine. This TC5 is very specific on the sepoys. It's good to see. I'm expecting maybe once the plan gets completed, Ungers will call in the 8 pikemen and maybe time it with a batch of skirmishers being trained. He's going to go for house being pressured, and it's just close enough to the TC. It's all pretty good. So far, this is looking pretty good for Ungers. This build order from Tabben is, I mean, it's a constant rush with extra cav instead of musks, which makes sense versus Dutch, but I think Ungers is holding this very well. He's microing very well today.
Yeah, and we can see just rebuilding the house constantly right there in order to keep up the production at the back of this. The pikes are already halfway there. Same for the skirmisher. The batch of skirmisher is halfway there. All the sepoys are going down right there. 2 TC fire. Sure, that house is gonna go down, but is that an issue? No, because the house has been rebuilt at the back. Very nice play here. Just lose maybe one or two
He's
villagers.
baiting with the villager. He's a master baiter, because here comes the pikes, and the villager gets in, and the pikes come out, but luckily Tabben does react and pulls it away. He must be anticipating, but a deli does go down behind. But that's the power spike of the Ottoman consort kind of gone. It's nullified with his cav now. He won't really want to be thinking about going 4 sours behind this, and it's just a free skirm time for Ungers. And yeah, his stage 2 skirmishers can dominate versus Sepoy Gurkha, and well, Tabben's just sat there going, wow, what do I do now? What is the plan? I have no plan.
24 villager on the side of Tabben. That's a few more than Ungers, but Ungers, with all of that happening, is on triple banks, guys. So very nice play by him right there to be able to secure 3 banks while surviving the pressure right there. Excellent play by Ungers, and yeah, I see him in a very good position as the game moves forward right now, because basically the hardest moment of the game for him was just there. Now he just has to cruise, you know, to the finish line slowly but very surely. Make sure he doesn't throw the game, and yeah, it should be a very good game for Ungers from there.
I don't agree with that at all, Kanoki. I mean, it's
You don't agree?
if it was over, you'd see the player side from GG. It's
course,
not even
of
close. And the thing is, Dutch is kind of he's on 3 bank. That's not 4 bank. It's not 5 bank. I doubt he's got hunting dogs either. But this is a bit of a weird push here from Dutch. He's trying to age, but he's pushing 8 pike and 5 skirmishers in Dutch in Inger's base right now. He knows that there's sepoys around. He knows that there's Minutemen available. There's a couple of cav still remaining. Double Minutemen batch coming out with cav trapping behind and sepoys. What on earth is Ungers doing pushing out with just these units? Is he trying to lose his position? I think he is.
I think he was expecting India to basically edge up right there and catch him off guard basically with his unit right there, but he's getting punished. At least he got the double Minutemen, you know, from the TCs. 5 bikes are gonna survive, but I have to agree with you that this was a little bit optimistic. And of course, the game is not won on the side of Dutch, but he's in very good position. From that point, we can see that he's edging up, he's banking a shipment, so that pressure didn't achieve a lot, but at least he can edge up safe, and that's already a good thing. He will be able to send his first shipment once again quite safely into the third age. Is he gonna grid with, for example, 1000 wood, or is he gonna go for something extremely safe, like for example a fort? Is he gonna go for Reuters or skirmishers right there? I believe he's just building a stable at that point, and he's gonna go for the wood. Max grid, my guy. He wants 2 more banks if he is feeling good, and he's gonna go for 2 more banks behind this.
I mean, I don't think it's max greed sending 1,000 wood, but it is dependent on how you spend it. He's going to need houses. He's going to need more infrastructure. He's got a 1 racks, 1 stable. He's looking for his 4th bank at the very least, a couple of architects, a couple of housing, and maybe 1 extra racks or stable or both. So he's ahead of India. He knows that because he aged up before, so he's got time. But the thing is, because he's only on 3 banks at the moment, he isn't in the lead. There isn't like Dutch is so far away, India can't keep up. India himself, he's been scaling. He gets a virtue of every shipment. As the game goes on, he's looking pretty fine. His natural resources last longer because he's kind of mixing on the trees, wood, berries boosted by architects, etc. There's a hunt on the mine top side, which maybe Tabben hasn't quite seen, but maybe it's just safe hunt for him later in the game. But you know, later in the game, we're going to be seeing Mahout Lancers, the disciplined Gurkha backed up by Brit Consulate and Gurkha Combats, and all these really good stuff behind. It only takes 1 micro mistake here from the Dutch player, and then Mahout's just run over the skirmishers. So, you know, it's still, the scores are super close behind this, and it's all to play for. And Tabben still has the map. Let's look at Dutch's hunt at the moment. Where's his next hunt? And yeah, this is a tournament game. Tabben is thinking, right, you're in this base, these are your resources. You have to come out here for your next resource, and I will meet you with elephants here, and you have to fight for this. I have no idea how he's gone from, yeah, Dutch is home and dry, and you drive home to victory, on the victory lap, to, actually, hang on a minute, where's his next hunt? What's going on?
Yeah, but as we can see, mostly Reuters, he has a big skirm mass right there. So, while I agree with you, I still think he's in a very prime spot. Has he found a 4th and a 5th bank behind this? That's going to be the question. I believe he has found a 4th bank behind this. And we can see big skirm mass. He just need, 5th bank, 5 bank right there. So, nice eco right there. Sure, it's not going to scale any further compared to India. So he is going to need to take good fights at that point. We can see the skirmisher mass pushing forward, trying to pressure his opponent. Needs to be careful about the Viagra fort and needs to be careful about those mounts. I'm not sure he has enough Reuters. I think he needs to wait for that next batch of Reuters in order to deal with those mounts confidently right there. Well, yeah, we can see he's not even two-shotting them. I believe with 15 Reuters, he's going to be able to two-shot the mounts, and from there, he's going to be in a better position. But for now, he has to be, he has to respect the elephants, and we can see that he can secure at the back of this the next hunt, as you said, which was a prime point of contention. And you were right to point out, but for now, he's just ticking all the boxes. We can see the next shipment is going to be even more Reuters in order to one-shot potentially, or for sure two-shot those mounts. And behind that, he's going to transition into some Hussars in order to deal with the Gurkhas. So I really, really like this from Dutch. 5 banks, remember, that's a lot. And Tabben, sure, he still has the Sagra fort, which is going to make, which is going to keep the map control for him. But nicely played for now. Ungers not missing a beat, not losing his units to a big fight. So very nicely played.
Finally, Ungers is as in Hussars. He's prepared. He's prepping potential tools to deal with a Urimi pop. Let's look at India. He's looking to push forward here. Has he got a shipment on the way, or is he just kind of prodding the head? No, not even close. Just looking to push. It was a bit of a weird timing because There's elephants been on the map for a while, and I suppose being trained double Gurkha, getting that Gurkha count going. But you know, if this aggro thought was a little bit forward, like we talked about before, this game changes so much at this
I agree
point.
completely.
He's under pressure, having to fight to break out, but he has a little bit of breathing space, and Tabben's not kind of doing this. Just imagine if Tabben slowly takes his fight around to the left side of the map, and as soon as the skirms and roiters run away, the elephants just stomp on the villagers who are currently hunting it. They could be under threat, but they're no real ones actually. Ungers moving forward with Huss and the aggro fort. This is so needlessly risky here from Ungers. I don't like this at all.
Yeah, I don't like this at all. Myself, as you said, and we can see.
Tabben in.
Very
can't get the
nice
tree.
micro. Very nice micro right there. We can see the skirmishers. They are gonna stay onto the Gurkhas right there. While the Reuters, they cleaned all of the mounts almost. Only one mount remaining, but that's not gonna be enough for the almost 30 skirmishers that are shooting at the back right there. He needs to be careful though, because that's a lot of Gurkhas right there that can keep shoot, that can trade with the skirmishers. And meanwhile, the Agrafort is still shooting. I believe he shouldn't take those fights, Ungers, that is, without at least 2 falconets or something to deal with the Agrafort while he's pushing.
You got to remember. These Gurkhas are insane. They're Mansabdar boosted, disciplined with the extra Indian 8 range on the age up. They are infantry combat teched, and they probably have a little bit of extra HP from. Is he still on Brick Consulate, or is he staying on? He's on Brick Consulate. So these skirms outclass Dutch skirms so much. So so what if he's not gone in with the Mahouts? He just needs to trade. The only problem is he's kind of lost that meat shield to kind of protect him from the SARS, and the Musketeers need to work overtime here. Maybe it's enough actually for Gurkhas to right click, but
Ungers is right clicking.
Agrafort.
Ungers is right-clicking right there. We can see the Zomboax finally coming in. Can they clean the SRs fast enough? Because that's a lot of SRs that needs to be killed for the Gurkhas to keep reigning supreme. The SRs are going down and the Gurkhas are gonna reign supreme. Ungers is at the back of his opponent's resupply line. Right there, he's gonna lose his entire army. And as you said, India, very, very nice point right there. Sure, 5 more SRs coming in, but the Zomboax, they're not dead. They're gonna deal with the SRs very nicely right there. And as you predicted, Harrison, my bad, I was wrong. Right there, very nice comeback on the side of India. Ungers couldn't deal with the Agrafort right there and couldn't find the composition to deal with all of those Gurkhas right there. As you said, just the Mansabdar upgrade right there, plus the cards, plus veteran upgrade. Those guys are way too tanky, plus the British consulate, as you said.
We need to make that an ESOC taunt or an ESOC emote that Harrison was right there. Thank you, Billy. I mean, if there wasn't the ZAM shipment coming in, then Tabben would have been in big trouble. But these skirmishes are so strong that Ungers, well, he kind of is getting to the stage that he might need to think about going to Falconets to deal with the Skirm Massacre. I don't think Ungers wants to keep up with Skirm combat, Skirm attack, Skirm HP to keep up.
I don't think
I thought it was a normal Gurkha then, thinking, oh my god, cheat codes enabled.
The thing is, I don't think he wants to go into. I was thinking as well, he needs Falconets, but the thing is, it's India. And you have the 2 siege elephant shipment that is gonna completely annihilate any falconet on the field, and I believe that's why Ungers doesn't want to go into those falconets because of that shipment right there. 2 siege elephants, and I believe that's why we haven't seen falconets yet. But he needs falconets if he wants to push under that Agrafort for sure, and still cannot commit to it. And we can see behind this 3.
Oh god, that is a lot of Mahouts right now, and I was saying how India scales up as the game goes on, but he's pumping out so many large batches of Gurkha Zam, but his Mahout ship's going to come behind, and he's 3 of them, the Indian explorers. I think they're currently building a TC, but at least they're probably together healing each other up, and the fact that India have very strong wood gathering, they just cost wood, taking map. The TC is essentially free. The villagers being trained are essentially free, and you can continuously train. Dutch, it's really expensive for them to make a second town centre to then train 100 coin villagers. They don't really want to do that. It doesn't give them the same benefit. Finally, now getting infantry combat. I kind of assumed this was in a long time ago, but long overdue. This is, but they still won't be as good as the Indian Gurkhas. So that's what he's got to consider, is how much he wants to really try and fight this skirmisher war versus India. Whereas Tabben's like, okay, I've got a skirm lead, keep the skirm lead, but I can invest into the other things behind this, like the Zams. And soon, at some point, there's no reason for Tabben to not train Mahout Lancers like from the stable organically.
Yeah, indeed. We can see big veteran mass. That's a veteran SR mass. That's how he's looking to deal with all of his Gurkhas. But I don't think that's going to be enough.
Oh my god! Look at the elephant.
6 Mahouts. 6 Mahouts. No, mate. There is no
And with
way.
Mansadar Zambarak behind, this Hussar line is not going to be enough. And
Yeah.
I want you to think about when you said Dutch was going to drive home into the sunshine and it's all going to be fine and
nope.
easy, because this is going to be disastrous here for Ungers. He's got no other choice. He needs to do something, but in come the elephants and they're just going to crush everything. They don't care if it's a skirmisher, if it's a Reuter or a Hussar. It's just going to get run over here, and the Zams going to clean up the Huss while blocking the front. And wow, what another fantastic game back and forth, and Tabben is charging the Mahout Lancers, and the Skirm now vulnerable. There's still 5 Mahouts alive and 4, plus Explorers left flanky as well. Oh my goodness, what are we watching?
Man, we are. I don't know what we are watching, but for sure I'm out, because we can see those elephants going forward, just inside the enemy composition and completely wiping the floor with blue skirmisher right there. Nicely played by Tabben. I was wrong. India scaling was way better than I thought. And damn, that Agrafort posed a lot of problem to Ungers. Was unable to push because he was afraid of the shipment. And yeah, very, very nicely played right there by Tabben. Very, very good game. That big mouth. Just the shipment plus a free mouth batch, I believe. Nicely played to seal the game.
Remember, Oh no, someone's beat me to it, I think. Remember, guys, today's lesson for you to oh, come on, Moonshine. Today's lesson is it's not over until Revnak's mum sings. Like, if you think it's over, it's not over until it is over. And
until the fat lady sings, indeed. Elephant just don't die, yeah, for sure. Needed Mansabdar Revnak's mom. Indeed. No, that was something right there. Excellent game by Tabben. Securing his first victory into this series, so it's not going to be a clean sweep right there. Tabben representing, being strong, big and strong into this match, and I cannot wait for the next one.
You don't believe in Tabben here, do you? You don't have faith that Tabben's going to come back.
I mean, last game, I have to say, when I saw Ungers' defense, I was like, yeah, that's gonna be like, I didn't like Tabben Eco was so behind at that point. I was like, nah, Ungers is gonna be fine. And then there was that raid that didn't achieve a lot, as we said. And the first engagement really went into the favor of India because of the Agrafort doing a lot of, cheap damage onto the skirmisher. And at that point, I was like, oh fuck, Harrison is right. And as much as it pains me to say, you were. That was it.
The chatter reminds me that I have promised quotation marks a shirtless stream at some point. I might have forgot about that or got distracted or something. And can we just but Kanoki's beard is so much more attractive than my titties. Like, can we just divert that away over to Kanoki's side?
I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a bit of a hole at the moment. Giggity. But not the right one, not the right kind. So, and from Tabben as well, what I think is worth mentioning, but he's kind of gone through some of his safer civs at the moment, and I'm actually really glad he's got a victory with India, because he's been playing a lot of China Otter recently. So, and China is known for that as his main civilization. So I think he's hoping to kind of get rewards for at least one of those civilizations. Tabben has been playing a lot of USA, which I'm sure he will get out. But I think Tabben will also then have to hop onto the kind of the Dutch, the German, the French train as well and kind of go back to more standard civs to kind of round out his best of 7. And yeah, the civ picks will come in, and Tabben's going to play that USA he's been practicing. He's been absolutely laming the fuck out of that civ. Pardon my French, but all he's been doing is been playing USA and Otto on the ladder, and he's been having such a good time doing it.
Indeed, and we can see here we are going to be on New England, France against USA in the blue side, playing as the French. Unger is going to face in the red corner Tabben, playing as USA in red, as I said. Very nice map. Really like it. We might see some pound laning, because this time those are pounds. They are not C's at the middle of the map. You cannot correct me on that, Harrison. Maybe we can call them Lake if you prefer, but there you go. And French is gonna go for the 12-10. That's the big question. We can see already that USA is shopping some wood, so he's not gonna go into a 10-10 on the east side. So likely a more conservative approach. Is he gonna go though into the Chinese immigrants? Usually we see 10-10 with the Chinese immigrants, but that's gonna be a 12-10 with Chinese immigrants. Interesting right there. Sorry, 14-20 with Chinese immigrants. So,
Okay, slow down, my friend. Slow down. The 12-10 is France.
yes,
USA,
and 14-20
Chinese
is USA.
Slow down. You're getting so excited. Now, while the H1 plays out, I know you said ponds, and like, when does a puddle become a pond? And when does a pond become a lake? And when does a lake become a reservoir? That is the real question that we need to identify and work out while we're watching Treasure Gardens being taken and killed, treasures being picked up, and the standard H1 things. Because I feel that you could walk into a puddle with Wellington boots on, but you want to walk into a pond with Wellington boots on. So maybe that could be a definition.
To me, a lake has a river upward and a river going on the other side. You see what I mean? On upward and downward, you find a river. That's a lake. A pond, you have no river. It has been formed by the rain. That's my definition right there, I would say. Even if I'm probably not the Englishman into this conversation, so you might have to correct me right there. And what was the last thing you said? The third word. What was it? Pond, lake, and
I think that's a reservoir, but it could be an oasis. Like,
it could be indeed. It could be something coming from down under, basically from Australia straight away. I'm not sure though. And we can see the edge up slowly coming in on the side of the French. The 12-10 coming in. We will have to check which production building is going with first, and that's going to be a 12-20. Sorry, my bad. 12-20 on the side of USA right there. I was pretty sure he was going to go for something later, probably a 13-20. But he might have found a few food treasure right there to achieve that 12-20. So I wasn't far off with my 12-10 for USA right there. But no, it's going to be Chinese immigrants. We are likely going to see the Islanders joining the fray. We can already see 3 TPs being placed on the map. And I'm pretty sure there are those Islanders in the deck. He's going to go for the Dutch immigrant side there. And yeah, the Islander shipment is waiting at the back. It's going to be quite a slow build order though, going for the bank. Very, very greedy right there. We'll see which timing he can achieve.
Yeah, there's so many small and minor variations of the USA build. And this essentially is you send in Chinese immigrants. At some point, you send in Pennsylvania Philadelphia Convention, and then at some point you send in the Highlanders. But in between, we have Advanced Saloon, we have Capitalism, we have a Bank, Arkansas Trading Posts. Maybe not 700 wood actually, but like some people say actually no, Capitalism and Dutch immigrants skip the Advanced Saloon. Some people say just Saloon. Some people combination, and there's no real definitive answer at the moment. And I think the Advanced Saloon came in, so it's going to be Saloon down, but he's gone for 700 wood here instead of the Arkansas Post, which I guess makes sense. They're basically the same situation. He's going to build another 2 saloons, or all 3 of them, on that wood. then that will lead him into that Highlander play. And actually, Ungers coming up with some early pikemen. He might need a couple more pikes to put a real dent into this trading line, because these are very, very tanky buildings. And actually, look at that, there's a barracks on the northern side there from Ungers, just behind that TP line.
Indeed, the barracks is just right there, securing as well the second.
Well done, Baron, you found it.
Indeed.
A joke.
We can see here the gunslingers are gonna slowly come in order to defend all that TP line, but it might be too late, at least for that TP. That TP might go down. That's gonna be a very, very slow timing, in my opinion, on the side of Tabben right there with the 700 wood. He's likely going to build his first church, gonna ship the second one, gonna go for 2 saloons, 2 more saloons behind this. And he's gonna look to actually, instead of fighting the pikemen, he's gonna look to just siege on the other side of the map, which I'm not sure if those gunslingers have more siege damage than the pikemen. We will know for very, very soon. 24 here siege, and here we have 32. So yeah, the pikemen basically less expensive, and on top of that, they have better siege. So I believe that's if the armies don't fight, clearly the pikemen are in a better position right there. The second meeting house is coming down right there, and we can see already Pennsylvania Pound for the extra coin being researched, and very, very soon we will see the Highlander joining the fray right there. Nicely played by Tabben.
So obviously the French TP go down is actually quite big, because France have to pay to rebuild them, but USA can just remake them from the train person, and that's nearly there. And he'll call on the wagon from that nearby TP to get it built. He actually might build a TP himself, actually, which makes sense because he still has another 2 slots to rebuild. You know, he was close to doing it, but he's now called it a day. Those gunslingers, they will move forward. They have special ability, and if they can pick up a couple units, very nice. Ungers, meanwhile, has gone to the 3rd age. We've not really missed it. It's only just coming now, but he's going to meet these Scottish immigrants, the Scottish Highlanders, in combat, hopefully with a card to play with, either 2 Falk or 8 Skirm. Let's ride with Ungers' point of view to see how he's going to open up into the Highlanders coming in. He's always going to go for 1,000 wood first. That's not what I was expecting there.
Yeah, that's greedy right there from him, but he feels safe. At the same time, he managed to get down 2 TPs, which is going to reduce the amount of Islanders his opponent is going to have from the shipment. Only 8 Islanders instead of the potential 10 right there. We can see though a batch of 5 Hussar is going to join the fray on top of those 7, Islanders instead of potential 10. And here we can see no pikemen in order to protect those skirmisher, and those skirmisher are likely going to go down. That's where, for example, 5 Dragoons could have been a good shipment instead of 1,000 wood, but hey, that's the decision he took. The pikemen were a little bit isolated right there. They are gonna meet with the SRs. No micro on the side of the SRs. Who's gonna start for free, taking a lot of damage on the second one, and finally the Islanders joining in order to clean the melee infantry right there.
So the Hussars, although you could say no micros, they're just to pin down the pikemen, and then the Highlanders going from behind. 1,000 wood came from Ungers. Just imagine if Ungers sent in a frigate defensively in his pond, because that would defend his skirmishers, or at least, but it would also make it very hard for the Highlanders to even cross into French's base, and failing that, that would be in range of basically all the training posts on the middle line. They spawned towards the French side of the line compared to the USA side of the line, so whoever controls that large puddle, or very small ocean. Yeah, so technically it could be a very, 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 very small ocean. I think that would be a very tactical play there.
But we can see more coin being shipped on the side of Tabben. Is he gonna keep up the production, or is he gonna edge up? That's gonna be the big question. I would be looking for an edge up myself. Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's looking for an edge up instead of keeping the pressure in the commerce edge on his side. Ungers, we can see that he is looking for his second batch of dragoons, and after that, pure skirmisher, very likely preparing for a big transition into those mighty cuirassiers that might come later into Fortress Age. Oh, nice little messenger pop right there, but very few support, very few units in order to support. So those messengers are gonna go down. No, the CDB Navy is not going down, but finally the units are arriving. Nice snare with the Explorer right there, and that might be a lot of those Islanders falling low HP for sure. One falling down, two falling down, a third might fall down right there. Yes, here we go. And that's a nice cleanup here by Ungers, making sure that the Hussars are gonna die to the Dragoons and the Skirmisher can keep fighting the Islanders right there.
Yeah, well, this is some fantastic micro. This is actually, this has been quite a joy to watch. And that Highlander threat is kind of gone down. And yes, the USA is aging behind, but what has he actually achieved? That he hasn't really caused lasting damage behind this. Yes, he will get up to the next stage and kind of catch up, but he's always sent in so many shipments, given up tempo to be behind at the moment, and that's a bit of a tough one, I think, for Tabben to kind of deal with, essentially. And now that there's an early mass of Dragoons and Skirmishers running around, he's actually going to move in, because I think he's sensing the Ajet behind. Basically, Tabben's dead if he stays H2, but he's also now knows there's an opportunity for him to get to the third age, and 2 Vils will get picked up here for Ungers' rather proactive use of Dragoons. Very nice to see. He's going to get them down, he's going to back off. There's no point trying to fight with just 2 Skirmishers versus some Sharpshooters.
Indeed, he's going to go down. Behind this, I'm pretty sure we are going to see a Sharpshooter edge up on top of that, so that's soon to be 9 Sharpshooters on the field. Yeah, Kentucky. So 4 more sharpshooters are gonna join the fray. But yeah, Ungers is in a nice position. One thing I would have liked to see right there at the back of his pressure is resecuring the TP line, but he was not able to right there. We can see he's just starting to siege. I like the few Alps right here in order to make sure that cavalry is not an issue, and on top of that add some siege to his composition to deal with the TP line. Nice little touch, you know, right there. And I hope we are gonna see French try to retake the TP line in order to deny basically those constant Chinese immigrants TPs from coming up on the side of Tabben, which is giving him a ton of XP at this point.
I just saw a Hazard in the chat saying that Tabben forgot his Virginia General Assembly pivot card, which is, you know, a bit of a shame. He's aged up later as a result of that. But also, he's just sent in 1,000 wood, but he's got no state capital to build wagons from. And the whole point of that kind of why that's so good, then maybe pivot into 1k wood, is that your capital can build wagons, which can build buildings much faster than anything else can do. I'm not even too sure the US General can even build a town centre. I think it's just a fort and trading post. So I don't really know what he's going to do with this wood, or how he's going to spend it, because maybe it's just like 8 houses for all these outlaws he could go. He's not going outlaws, he's just going regular skirmisher goons. So the synergy of this build order with 1k wood first card, he's still got 800 remaining. He hasn't got an idea how to spend this. Neither do I, really.
I'm quite surprised, because if he was looking for production building, just send the 2 blockhouse, and on top of that you have some, you know, some hunting bonuses. So would have been, in my opinion, a better card to send. Or maybe he was just banking for Pulaski Legion right there, so he's gonna look for one big fight. But as we said, the Alps right there, very nicely played by Ungers, making sure to have a few Alps, to have enough Dragoons, and now we can see the Cuirassier joining the fray. I don't think the Uhlans are going to be enough to clean this entire army because of those few Alps and the few Dragons still alive.
Oh, you'll be surprised. You will be surprised.
Maybe, because they are consulated.
I didn't see this play from Tabben. I think it is absolutely spot on the right play, because I don't think he can kind of sit back and slowly build TCs and try and defend and turtle versus, you know, he's just lost his middle TP line. But Ungers here, he's got a couple of goons. But once the sharpshooters engage, here can Pulaski Legion, but the goons are getting focused on already. And a couple halves will come forward, but that's just going to be pickings here for the carbines. This is a good fight for Tabben. This should be pretty decent.
This is a very good fight indeed, because the skirmisher, they are forced next to that lake bound bubble. However, you call it,
Where's going to take it? The Falcons can't get in, they can't guarantee it. It takes too long for them to do that. And he knows this. He has to stand and fight, but the skirms can run away, but he's not. He's just taking this fight, but the Falcons will go down. But there's so much value from Frigate in terms of actual getting stuff on the board pretty quickly. And yeah, the Falcons go down. Maybe he's waiting for his own naval shipment. I don't even know what he can do.
Yeah, very nicely played right there by Ungers, securing this fight. He just managed to destroy basically one of the biggest, strongest shipment in the game right there, thanks to that pop and thanks to those two Falk very safe at the back, despite his skirmisher being a little bit too forward at the beginning of the fight. However, he needs to secure a lot more skirmisher here to deal with that carbine cavalry really messing up right there. We can see a frigate being shipped by USA right there. Is it? Yes, it is gonna spawn on the same pound, so we might see the French frigate going down in favor of the USA frigate right there, but that's not even sure, to be fair, because there are quite a few units that might be able to join in and put some damage.
Raid on the top, raid on the top. Here come the Cuirassiers on some hills. 3 will go down. That's brutal. Yeah, that's a shame. But here comes the frigate, and full HP frigate versus low HP. Special attack comes in. He should be able to win the frigate war unless some random variation happens. But I'm feeling pretty confident. But there's no actually units to kill the skirms here from USA. It's all in the carbine cavalry. They're good units, but actually he needs to kind of maybe watch how he goes into killing these skirms. They don't have the greatest range resistant carbine cavalry. This will go in on the melee mode. Yeah, he doesn't mind. Frigate from Ungers pulled off onto the carbine cavalry, but back onto the he's not going to win the frig fight, so might as well just kill the units.
Indeed, but we can see more skirmisher coming at the top right there. The carbine cavalry, though, nice charge right there that really reduced the damage, and now the frigate is going to be free to shoot onto the skirmisher, and I believe Ungers has to leave this place as fast as possible, because this frigate is going to start to pack up a lot more value as this fight goes on. Can he finish the frigate actually? That would be a good place, so it cannot be repaired by a dock or something. And we can see behind that Ungers securing some urns right there with on top of... Oh! The Cuirassier coming in! Destroying the frigate, very nicely played right there. And now you need to
Why is he
run
going
as
five
far away as
Cuirassier?
possible.
Why would you do that though? Because he's seen that the entire US army is dragoons. What are they going to achieve? Unless we've missed a raid on the right side, I don't quite know why he's done that.
Maybe he was assuming some sharpshooters were gonna come back again, I have to say, in order to counter the skirmisher, but no, you know, Caravan Cav are good enough, and just more Caravan Cav beat less skirmisher. That's what we just saw right there. So very nicely played. Second wax coming up, though, on the side of Ungers.
Yeah, but Tabben's got 0 skirmishers in the field. But luckily, he's sending in a 16 skirmisher card from the home city to balance out his composition, because #DE, and it doesn't matter if he's over carbine cavalry. He can just pull back when he needs to, take some little trades, and these little trades, he's still going to kill these skirms. But this follow-up shipment from Kentucky is so strong, and also Kentucky coal mines at some point maybe drive some Gatling gun production at some point. But skirm is exactly what he needs.
Indeed, at that point, it's exactly what he needs, because those few skirmishers from French are not going to be able to deal with all those sharpshooters and a few gunslingers that just, not gunslinger, desperados, but the American version, all hoots, there you go, that just joined the fray right there. And yeah, we can see immediately the skirmishers are going back, and suddenly that Rax that was looking in a very good spot in order to apply some pressure, looking a little bit too forward against that amount of skirmisher.
Julian's just said it's been covered up for USA. It's like, well, what's a Hussar? Is that a 4-legged Caroline? I've never heard one of those units before. What's a Hussar? You don't need Hussars when you're playing USA. You've got your 22 range sharpshooter snipers. You've got your high rate of fire dragoons, and you've got your 3 Gatling gun shipment into 2 Gatling guns into as much artillery as you like. There's no need to train Hussars USA. You got the best of everything, and this. CDBs are moving out here from Ungers on the top side into some further coin mine, because he's basically out of resources on his top side, which is absolutely fine.
Ooh, nice.
Carbine cavalry mass is a little bit low. He needs to keep somewhat of an eye on this, but this positioning, the choke point from the barracks to the cliff, that's just fine, and the Cuirassier has melted.
Carbine cavalry is a good unit. That's all I'm gonna say. The Cuirassiers right there completely melted. However, CDBs are also a good unit. They tanked so much into that fight right there, making sure that basically all of that shipment, as we talked, the 14 skirmisher shipment, almost
Yes.
got wiped once again, and we can see Ungers, despite everything happening, despite being DE'd to oblivion, is still ahead in terms of score. Is France the true OP? That's the question, Harrison. Will we have the answer today? I'm not sure. But we can see that Ungers is staying alive in this game. He is achieving some map control, and now good raid right there on the north side of the map.
I've been trying to build town centers with villagers because US General can't. He hasn't got a TC wagon at all from home city or from the state capital. He really needs a Gatling gun shipment at some point. That's what would kill the CDBs and the skirms. He should pull the vills back. It's not the end of the world to lose his town center. It does feel a bit bad, but if he can somewhat wait, he has that forward spawn point from the second town center. Going 3 TC straight away is just way too greedy. I don't know why he's trying to go 3 TC here. If you can get that Gatling gun shipment onto the CDBs, they don't resist artillery. They get shredded as well.
Indeed, but I got to point out I love those CDB pools by Ungers here, making sure that he secures the most important fight. That's something that we don't see enough, I would say, to have those CDBs on the front line in order to, you know, make sure that you win the fight that matters. And 2 fights in a row right there, using a lot of CDBs and not losing a lot of them in the process, but using them to just have the tankiness, have more pressure, more damage during those key fights. Very, very nicely played by him. And behind that, as you said, rolling artillery is going to come on the side of Tabben, while Ungers, no shipment coming in yet. But he's going to have to deal with those 3 Gatling guns that are going to join the fray and try to deal with all of that skirmish mass. More curses.
What a wage you give, 1,200 resources. And the thing is, it's like, now that the competition from Ungers is skirm heavy, there are a couple goons, but rolling artillery, could it come from the top TC and catch him by surprise? Maybe this could be a huge CDB raid with the artillery. I mean, he's going to call it home, going to dive in, US General tanking, Minutemen being called, but goons going to dive onto the artillery pieces as well. But even still, if they do go down to the goons, they've got some good value so far. They've
that's excellent.
Full HP, and the skirms, they need to get away. They need to get away, and the Gatling gun, okay, it's in limbo mode, but it still gets some good picks behind this.
Can you get away though from Caravan Cav, which is, I believe, one of the fastest cav in the game? And once again, the CDB coming in to save the day, making sure that the mass of skirmisher is not going to go down to 0, basically. Got to love the CDB usage here out of Ungers. Really got to love it. And we can see some pressure in the soft side, killing a few more villagers. 33 villagers on the side of Tabben, while Ungers is rocking 53? Is that 53 or is that 33? I'm not sure. 53. Holy moly. That's a difference.
I love watching CDB pools for the spectacle of it, but I think tactically there from Ungers, I don't think he needs to do that, or he doesn't need to do it as much as he thinks he needs to do it. He has a decent amount of villagers, and he needs to secure what he does have remaining. The hunt's on the kind of middle right is up for grabs, and there's a hunt on the top left which is kind of up for grabs, but there's a lot of vills for France on the very far north. They're kind of... Okay, I think they actually have a hunt on the edge of the map, so they're pretty happy at the moment, but once those... a bit north from that. Yeah, I think that once those hunts start running out, Ungers is in trouble. But Tabben has lost a lot of vills recently. Like a lot of little pick. Another vill goes down. He's stayed on like 35 vills now for the last. Oh, he's in 31. He has 2 TC, but he's gone down in villagers because a couple vills out on the map trying to get a hunt. Just easy pickings here for the skirms.
Indeed, they are, and we can see sure he's on 2 TC, but is that gonna be enough to come back into this game? I don't think that's what he needs. He needs to first deal with that skirmish. The options are running low right there. We can see the skirmishers trying to pressure into the base, trying to start putting some damage onto his opponent's army, and there are very few shipments that he has to be worried about. What can pop from now? Maybe 2 Gatling guns? Is 2 Gatling guns gonna do enough? Sure, maybe a few assaults, but we can see already enough dragons around that stable in order to deal with all of the assaults that
This is a pop though. Nearly available, but yeah, 5 pop on top of skirms. Oh, hasn't quite timed the carbine cavern on the northern side as well. That's a bit of a shame, but goes for another full pop of facades from the other stable. Shipment ready to go. That could be 2 artillery pieces or two coal mines or two whatever you want to do. And yeah, oh god, look at the scums! They're on the edge of the cliff. They've got nowhere to run. They cannot go anywhere. And this is the kind of positional awareness you have to have. Come on, the Husk, get in there! Get in there! The Dragoons getting microed down by Tabben. That's a good play behind. There's fishing boats in the water from Ungers. Maybe they could pick up some skirms. He kind of needs to think about picking up some skirms because otherwise they're going down.
I think he needs to, we can see, yeah, the boat is coming. Oh, what is that? No, not the CDB, they're just gonna die. You need to go back. Oh, wait, 20 CDBs being pulled right there, but I don't think they can win this side because that helicab is gonna eat CDB for breakfast right there. Is that gonna be enough though to hold this position right there? Going into melee with the CDBs in order to deal with the assaults. Sure, that's gonna be a win right there. He's not gonna lose. He has already lost his entire skirmisher mass.
Now the reinforcements though from Ungers. He must have reinforcements because there's no point fighting here with there's no follow-up.
I agree, but I see no reinforcement on the map. What is Ungers actually doing? He's raiding at the north with a native scout, so that's not it.
Floatage! He's got no coin, but he's floating! Oh no!
Oh no!
Could this be a panic age up? Could this be a panic age up to the age 4 Papal Guards for France and go age 4 Crossbow Pike? Because if you've got no coin wise, you need to do something, and not spending any res is unfortunately not enough.
Why has he pushed if there is no coin mine at the back of his push in order to keep training units? That's the big mistake right there. So sure, he's gonna try to survive with some bow pike, with some villager, but while he is fighting with the villagers, they are not gathering. So his eco lead is not pushing forward with his eco lead. Basically, we can see a fort being secured on the north side, and you know that starts to smell like a comeback on the side of Tabben right there. Securing map control again, making sure that he will be able to secure 2 TPs at the north. However, we can see Ungers really booming on the water. He's gonna go for all of those whales on the water. I saw some messages about whales in the chat a little bit earlier. I don't know if that's what we were talking about, but yeah, he's gonna go on whales in order to get some coin. Right there, Ungers that is, but that's not going to be enough to keep fueling during a game that is going to extend. And remember, USA, he can ship coal mines, which is going to make sure that he can keep going, keep pumping right there. He still has the banks, so yeah, he's going to be fine coin-wise, while France is basically out of coin, outside of water, of course.
Yes. I think Tabben is hopefully queuing up Pure Mantlet, big button from the native TP. That's what he's gone for.
Oh.
It's quite in your face because it says Tabben's got for a native TP, but there's nothing else to go for. Oh, he's okay. He's got it, so he can recall the Chinese immigrants' train post. Maybe he's not going for Pure Mantlet, big bucket button, but for 13 mantlets, look at the resources. He has got enough resources. He may be tempted, but I don't know.
I don't think he's gonna go for it.
He should, though. That's the problem. He should, but I don't think he will.
Yeah, because that tech for sure would be good at that timing in order to push. Maybe he doesn't know that Ungers is out of coin. That's the big thing, though. Maybe he's not aware. However, if you see some crossbows on the field, you have to suspect that your opponent is out of coin, basically. So yeah, I don't know what's going on in the head of Tabben at that point. He's gonna go for Virginia General Assembly. Okay.
Why?
Okay. Probably Oregon Trail, I believe. Ungers edging up right there. We can see Industrial Age. What is he gonna send with that Industrial Age? He edged up with, I believe, the 1,000 coin. That's not gonna be a lot. Sure, it's gonna sustain a few units, but you still don't have long-term access to coin. Maybe he's gonna go for his factories first, but that's gonna be in a while in order to stabilize basically the situation and have access to long-term resources.
Oh, if Tabben goes up north with those cows, there's a lot of villas to raid there, but I think Ungers, he has 70 villager population total, so probably like 50 CDB, 20 fishing boats. It's still looking fine for Ungers. His coin generation is kind of back on track now with the whales, with maybe a plantation, and then soon to be a factory behind this. Explore a buyback to crack shot a Hussar, it was so cheesy to do that. But Tabben must realise that where's the military here from Ungers? So that position, is it just it's just 10 crossbow all his time? Ungers has not trained anything out. He's going quad batch skirm now, quad batch, and 10 goons popped out as well. Okay, now he's finally got the resources being spent.
Indeed, the resources have been spent. He's back on the water with 4
Still right
goons,
top
I
side.
believe.
Those have been scouted.
Indeed, how many CDBs are gonna fall down here? 2 already, 3rd CDB going down, 4th going down. Is that gonna be enough though to come back into this game? 5th CDB going down. That's actually a very good raid. Almost 10 CDBs going down, and the army of Tabben is still not completely clean right there. We can see now it's the dragoons that are being caught by those two hussars. However, with the arrival of the skirmisher to deal with the caravan cav, I believe it should be fine for Ungers, but big strike onto his eco right there. And you have to remember, USA with a very little eco, as I saw earlier in the chat, they can achieve a lot. They have very strong shipment, a lot of trickle when it comes to economy, between the bank, between the saloons, between also Pennsylvania coin. Clearly Tabben is not out, and he will resecure slowly but very surely the TP line thanks to Chinese immigrants.
He's not going for the TP line. He's not simply taking the TPs. He's trying to micro his units as best as possible, which is really good. But he also lost his entire army, which he could not afford to do. Unfortunately, I think he's thinking maybe Ungers is actually on the bare ropes, but he's
not anymore.
Tabben must have seen that Ungers on the water. We just checked like a scouted line of sights. I think he must know, but okay, he can infer that the water's on, but maybe he's not really paying attention or kind of trying to put it to the back of his mind. But unfortunately, now that middle, that island coin mine's taken up, but it's looking pretty safe here from Ungers to carry on. I'm just a bit sad that the Huron big button didn't appear, because actually, if 15 or 14 Huron mantlets came a little bit later for that push and got in front of the carbine cavalry while taking on dragoons, all those dragoons would go down, saving a lot of those hussars. More CDBs go down, and then you actually have a standing army.
And I see some comments like the fort is not getting any value either. Sure, but at the same time, like it's because it's forcing Ungers to go towards the south, so towards the TC, towards all of the production of Tabben. So in a way, it is still achieving something, because some villagers were gathering north here without the threat of being raided, basically. But we can see Ungers back into the base, 10k score advantage, that's a ton. And sure, there is going to be 10 SR popping up into this base, but there are more than 10 dragoons ready to catch them, ready to basically poke at them as soon as they come out. I don't think there are enough SRs right there to deal with this army. That's way too many dragoons at that point.
Yeah, it's also Gargoons, and it's just you can't fight your unit counter and tech disadvantage at the same time. There's a lot of mills, but Tabben's going to need some Kentucky coal mines at some point. Maybe he's trying to I'm going to go for the matlet big button. And Tabben's probably started going, where did you get those from? How did you get all that? Maybe not realizing the tech exists. I'm sure he does, but I think at this point he just doesn't have anything to do with it, and he can't deal with it. Skirms moving forward.
62 siege damage.
A 5 carbine cab shipment at this point. It's a good shipment, but it's not game changing. And the Huron Mantlers just moving onto the town centres. They're just sieging. They don't give any Fs. They are just going for the building kills, and so they should.
I mean, that's what they are here. Now they are focusing on the hussars, and remember, those little axes that they throw, they also deal quite a lot of damage. 35 actually, and that's gonna be the GG. Nice play right there by Ungers, securing a 3rd point on the board. Very back and forth match, I have to say, but France at the end of the day, we good for a reason. That's all I have to say. There you go. France best. Take that, USA.
I feel that USA could have done a slightly better job given the map, but I think it was the early game. I'm gonna turn my lights on actually. There you go. I think it was the early game which caused the problems, but then at the middle game, Tabben was outplaying Ungers quite considerably, and you could feel that some of the USA tools getting into the later game helped him get there. Kanoki, just imagine if Tabben actually went for the VGA in transition, state capital, faster age up, double XP crates on the age up. It gives back its momentum with all the XP and tempo that you can then carry on. I think the military unit population there is that he's kind of waiting for the the Philadelphia Convention Auto Tech, not Auto Tech, the was it Unit Tech buttons, unit ship, whatever it is, unit shipment technologies, which then they would auto tech in the third age, the sharpshooters and the carbine cavalry. If they got on the field faster, they'll be outputting so much more damage much more quickly if they're tech. But it's just the other things as well, like that the town center switch. One town center got caught.
Yeah.
You know, and Vils went down trying to build it as well. These things, and if there was a TC wagon, then you can kind of drop a TC on that right side, and maybe could have got up while Foundation's at risk. The spawn points. Couple Gatling. I think if Gatling guns came one shipment earlier, we could have got some value. The frigate play was really good defensive frigate play there from Tabben after Ungers went offensive with it and kind of put himself in a bit of a slight issue there. It was a really close game, but I also feel that obviously Tabben went for standard Minutemen from the town centre, but never went for a real like conscious effort to get it back onto the trading line at some point, which to be fair,
exactly.
he would have never controlled all four stagecoach. It just wasn't going to happen, so that's probably why he didn't do it.
Three stagecoach he could have. To me, the biggest point I saw in the chat really was the Islanders not achieving enough, only getting 7 Islanders out of the 10 possible. That's like 600 res that you are not getting, so that makes the shipment a lot less worth it, because usually you are spending quite a lot of cards in order to get that shipment worth its money. So I have to say I'm not sure those Islanders achieved enough. On top of that, they got cleaned into the base like quite easily, actually, not even killing a single CDB, basically sieging maybe one trading post, and I'm not even sure. I think they sieged the racks, and that's it. And that was the damage from those 7 Islanders, so really underwhelming right there. And from there, France was able to drive victory home with some nice pops, as you said. Very nice fight by France, especially the frigate. The frigate pop on the pound was extremely good for France.
I love it. I love that accent. Every time you say Highland, I get a bit excited.
Islanders? Why is that? Because I don't pronounce the H. Maybe
you cannot pronounce the H in like passive conversation. The Islanders landed and had colonized the island for Ireland.
Oh damn, mate! I'm not ready.
Can you even say the difference between Ireland and Ireland?
Highlanders.
No, not Highlanders. Islanders and Islands. The islands of Ireland landed in Ireland.
The island full of Islanders. Oh, holy shit, that's hard. Mate, English, not my language. But hey,
no. Okay. Now, forget the H. I'm actually saying the word Islanders and the country Ireland.
Oh, you mean my colleague? Man, I have a colleague that is Irish. He's such a nice guy, I have to say. But instead of keeping that conversation in English, I'm just gonna enjoy some sausage. There you go. Man, that's good.
You enjoy the sausage. What the fuck?
Every Sunday, mate. ESOC, little sausage, a little bit of cheese. And, I have a good afternoon. That's it. And no baguette today. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, there you go. Kanuki has a good afternoon with little sausage and ESOC. Netflix and chill, it's ESOC and sausage.
It's the best Sundays. It's the best Sundays, I have to say. But yeah, waiting for the next game. What are Ungers and Tabben gonna play? As you pointed out earlier, both of them might not be on their comfort pick anymore. We can see on the side of Unger, Mexico is going to be the pick. He cannot go into Baja California, remember. And on the side of Tabben, we are going to see the Germans. So basically, Vanilla versus DE Degeneracy again, but this time Ungers is going to play the DE, and Tabben is going to be the Vanilla guy. I cannot wait for this game to start.
Yeah, it looks like we're about to hop into it.
Already, and Oh, yes, it's gonna be on Arctic territories, ladies and gentlemen. On the south side of the map, Ungers playing in the blue as Mexico, or Mimsico, as some of you might call them. On the north side of the map, Tabben is gonna play the Germans in the red. So basically, Uhlans versus Soldados, maybe. I'm not sure we are gonna see Soldados, but hey, who knows? We might see those spikies though. What are you expecting, Alison? Tell us, what do you expect from Mexico?
I don't really know, but I feel that you'll be going forward Hacienda and maybe open up the game with I think a 10+10 insurgents build order seems fine. You've got enough pikes to siege the trading post there from Germany. You have enough pikes to kind of get in there and try and catch the 2 Uhlans up from the 3 settler wagon shipments. I think from that point onwards, maybe Navajo riflemen, maybe could be Navajo card 1 with pikes supporting. So I think kind of making an impact early age 2 from Ungers with the potential then for a delayed pivot to Central America for basically artillery support. Soul Daddies is a good shout though. They are a fantastic unit in this matchup as well. I think I'll just that explorer's name. Yeah, oh yeah. Get that burrito shoved up there. I'm not too sure how you get a taco up there though. That's maybe it's like a soft taco instead of one of the crunchy ones.
I have to say, Harrison, I tried to throw you under the bus by asking you to predict what Mexico was going to do. And I think you did a really good job at trying to predict what Mexico is going to do. Because if there is one thing about Mexico, it's that it's one of the hardest thieves to actually predict. They have a ton of options. So yeah, but H2 pressure, very, very likely. We can see very heavy H2 deck. Are we going to see the Apache sharpshooter straight away with, for example, a batch of 10 pikeys? That could be an option, and I wouldn't be surprised that's what he's going for in this game in order to pressure, for example, the TP that is going to be placed down by Tabben on the south side of his base. We will see. Both players not edging up yet. They might be though. We cannot see because we are on Mother Nature point of view, but we will know.
Kanoki, are you using your French privilege and saying that the Apache and the Navajo are the same peoples? Because you're like, oh yeah, Mexico can send Apache H2. I'm like, oh, no, they can't.
Oh, they are Navajos. Yeah, my bad. Sorry. I thought it was the Apaches are the raiders that are available in H4, I believe.
Many thousands of viewers are now frantically writing emails and hate mail to ESOC TV. How dare Kanoki thinks the Apaches and the Navajo are the same?
Hey, they both have rifles. They both do bonus damage versus villagers. I'm not so far away, guys.
Yeah, they do actually. Well, no, they don't. Apaches do for the tech. Navajos only do because of Mexican bonus. They don't.
Yeah, exactly.
That is one of the most frustrating things about DEs. This random. Oh, this usage, this extra bonus for no reason. Why do you want to give five speed skirmishes multipliers versus skirms? That's villagers.
You know, there are things in the world, in outer space, in the universe that don't change. And among those things, when Mexico is being played and Harrison cast, he has to complain about Mexico design. That's one of the, invariants of the universe. And I was completely there for that. Like, I have to say, thank you, Harrison. Once again, the world can go to shit. Politics can be bad. The economy might fall. Climate change, etc., but Harrison complaining about Mexico, that's a staple, like whatever happens, we know that's gonna be there. So thank you, Harrison, for that. That's all I have to say. But yeah, edge up coming in.
Disclaimer: complain about Mexico in the Age of Empires 3 sense, not just Mexico outright.
Yeah. My bad. Yeah. I have to say. You're right to correct me on that. Baya was banned, yeah, guys. We are not gonna see any Baya California right there. We can see both head jobs. Tabben is going for a stable, he's going for his big settler wagon shipment. What is Ungers going for? Is he going for Navarros? Since it's not Apaches, is he going for Navarros? No, he's going, oh, actually for the free TP card. Nice, I really like this. He's gonna have to siege the TP line though, but he has 10 pikeys just spawning right there, and he's gonna be able to take the entire TP line, maybe secure a stagecoach right there, and behind that he's gonna send 5 villagers. So he's not that far behind when it comes to Inco compared to Tabben at that point. He's not gonna be that far behind.
Yeah, look at those Uhlans. They're going right through the middle of the map. They won't find his TP wagons. There's a moment of weakness where these wagons could get picked up, but I think they're all going to get secured. And it's like kind of Ungers is hiding the fact we're going to TP wagon away from Tabben's TP. Once he realizes that the Uhlans are in base, I think he can just pull them in. But I'm surprised Tabben's gone for a stable opening here. Like, you know that you're up against the best pike in H2. You're up against the best musketeer in H2, and soldados in melee do 75 attack. They will 3-shot a Uhlan in melee. You cannot engage soldados with Uhlan, so maybe it's there just because he wants to try an FF straight away into war wagons. That feels not a bad idea. He's got to do that. 700 coin does come in behind, and I appreciate the kind of the strategical thinking here from Tabben and trying to kind of risk getting the fast FF, but remember, it's a fast FF with no trading posts, and he kind of needs all these resources at the moment for the age. He can't really afford Minutemen. Greatcoats will come in, maybe anticipating a settler wagon kind of defense in front or something, but that market will go down, and Tabben's shooting the wrong unit at the moment, unfortunately, because he's now switched.
Yeah, and he's gonna try to fast stage against the Civ that has one of the best siege against the Civ that has excellent siege in H2. So he's already gonna lose his market. He's likely gonna lose an house or two. The Uhlans are being clean right there, and we can see Ungers he's going back right there. Maybe he's expecting a big shipment or something. I don't know why he's going back. Maybe he just wants to breathe a little bit, make sure that this Uhlan is not getting any value, and then he's gonna push back with a lot more pikes. Maybe he's waiting for his next batch as well, but I would like to see all those spikes killing the houses before the edge up of Tabben, so Tabben cannot send his first shipment. That's not going to be the case though. That will need 3 houses to be sieged down, and I believe it's already too late. The first shipment might come on the side of Germany. He needs the XP though, XP that he doesn't have yet, and we can see here Ungers is gonna commit, and he's gonna go straight for the houses, trying to reduce the buff of his opponent.
Okay, he's gonna get a couple kills. And looks like Ungers is going to try and commit to the house, but not going to get it, and just going to lose all the pikes. So a successful Minutemen defense there. I guess opens up the question: why didn't Tabben just build a church to start off this game instead of a TP? Because versus Mexico, you pretty much they're always going to open up 10 pike from the middle of the map. It's just what they do. They can spawn their age up bracks from the hacienda. They can drop it down straight away, and they can get 10 pike batches out straight. Kanoki, you talk about me hating the Mexicans. They can get 10 batch pikemen.
I mean,
10. Why?
Completely fair. Completely fair. Like, understand, they have to spend only 1 resources in order to get those spikes instead of 2. That's why they can train them 10 by 10. That's complete logic, mate. Come on. I don't see. I don't see any issue like that.
Devil's advocate, at least that mid-map TP pulled the pikes away from German's town centre, so you could get mark it down, maybe a couple eco techs, and then go for the FF. Relatively safe. He's in the 3rd age now, but I just feel that Germany's lacking a bit of oomph behind it. He's only got the skirms up from the shipment and a couple of H2 Uhlans. It's not like he's got like a normal build order: 3 settler wagons, 700 wood, 700 coin, aged up with like 15 Uhlans. TP ready to go, full upgrades, and just send it spamming in shipments. He's kind of having to work, and there's a couple Chinakos out, and that's going to send shivers down Tabben's spine. Just imagine facing Chinakos on match point, realizing that you now have to micro versus like a 3D competition to basically to win the game, but stay in the tournament. Like 1 micro slip and bam, those Chinakos, which have multipliers versus skirmishers. Let's not beat around the bush here. As soon as they make contact with the skirms, we're in trouble here in Germany.
And on top of that, they have multiplayers against Uhlans, so yeah, they are very good in it in this matchup. One thing, as you pointed out, is that Germany doesn't have a big mass, and that's mainly because 6 Uhlans died under Mexico TC without getting any kills, and that means that now there is 6 less Uhlans that are gonna upgrade to veteran. And that are going to be able to clash with Ungers' army. If right now there was 20 Uhlans, that would be just a right click, basically from Ungers, and he might have won this previous engagement, but now it's too late. There are enough Shinakos, there are 18 insurgents right there, and yeah, he cannot commit anymore into that mass. That's way too much handicap now. And we can see behind this more Chinakos being trained, more Pikeys being trained. Good luck pushing into this.
You see how Tabben's waiting for some anti-cav from his own TC. He's kind of not wanting to push out, but he has the strongest skirmisher. He has extra range. He has 3 more range than a Saltador. He needs to utilize that. Maybe pull trick around with his cavalry and kind of bully the... Okay, 2 more range, but he needs to bully the fact that the Saltador's at H2. He's got H3 skirmishers. Maybe pick up a couple insurgents. It's all about trying to whittle down that Mexican mass before he engages. Maybe going for 3 war wagons. Next card here from... He's a long way between another shipment. He just has to basically trade and keep building things.
What I'm not sure about, like, does Tabben as a Rax at that point, at that stage? Because I see him batching Uhlans after Uhlans, but I don't see any skirmisher. There is no Rax,
right? He must have. Yeah, I think he does.
Yeah, but there is no Rax. That's why he's not batching anything else. Basically, that's why we see.
I'll tell you what would win in Germany is a massive villager pool. If Mexico commits right now and the villagers come in to the fight, then it's going to be insane because the pikes don't do much damage to villagers. It's just not even worth it with great coats and melee resistance. The Uhlans feel like they want to get involved, but they're diving in. But there's not many skirms, as you say. You are right. He has to kind of pick his targets, but he's now walked into the eco. Here come the center wagons being pulled off the coin mine. He's just going to try and bring it back even further. This is all part of the plan. The master plan. The villagers will come into the action, and Mexico's backing off. And the couple skirms are still alive, and they're. Can you see they're constantly picking up pikemen in the back line? More Uhlans on the field coming from behind. Minutemen have already been pulled this game, haven't they? But Explorer comes back in the action. Not a bad fight here for Germany, considering it. I mean, he's up against it.
But look at the Uhlans mass. Look at the Uhlans mass losing. Now the Uhlans are dying. Not enough HP right there. And we can see
now the feather wagons walk into the middle of the fight. God damn it, Tabben.
Into the G right there. That was a mistake. But as we said, not enough skirmisher behind this to actually deal enough damage to clean that anti-cav mass. All of those spikes, all of those Shinakos right there tanked and dealt so much damage to the Uhlans. And you know, Uhlans, they... Oh, wait. Big Uhlan mass? No, that's not going to be enough. We can see there are more Shinakos and more pikemen than there are Uhlans. At that point, that's going to be GG. Yeah, well played right there by Ungers. Sealing the deal 4-1 into this series, guys. Unger is going to move into the round of 8 while Tabben is going to have to tap out. G into the G right there by Ungers. Yeah, just lack of skirmisher. The Uhlans, you know, Uhlans, they can completely swing a fight with their damage, but as soon as you lose 1, 2, 3 Uhlans, suddenly you have your entire mass that wipes because they have so low HP, so few HP. And we could see here that the Uhlans were microed at the start, and suddenly, boom, they all felt like 10 Uhlans in 3 seconds fall down right there.
Yeah,
GG.
I would have liked to see maybe a batch of war wagons if possible, because that's kind of why you go to the third age. But obviously, Uhlans is still pretty decent. Time to research that, so that's one batch unit he hasn't got on the field. He has to spend time to research that upgrade. But I think the final score of Ungers 4, Tabben 1, I think that is actually within the realms of expectation, really. Tabben has been playing a lot of games recently with only a small handset of civs, the Chinese, well, the Ottomans and the USA in particular, really. And unfortunately, Tabben, if he can't pick up a victory of both or either, then he's in a big trouble. Ungers just solid with everything he touches at the moment, so probably I'd say on balance the better players kind of gone through. Tabben, I think, took a bit of a break and then come back and started playing. Was it Sweden on the ladder? So maybe they would have come out at some point, but to kind of I'm not saying restarting, but kind of picking up, spend some time to kind of broaden his game horizons to like look at some other civs, which is good to see.
You know, I'm gonna stop on big comfort opinion. Unger is just more jacked. That's all.
Ungers
I
is
believe
more
that's
jacked.
what it is. Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed. G into the G, guys. We have the next series that is coming up. Soldier against Izad. I'm still gonna be casting. I believe Baron is gonna join me for the next series. Will we swap producers? That's the big question. Are we gonna have a little break into the stream? Is that the case, Baron and Gigs? I see you both in the chat. Okay, so guys.
And when Kanoki says a quick little break, he literally means like probably a 5-second switch over. Shouldn't take that long.
Yeah, pretty much.
One person presses one button, and the other person presses the other. That's okay.
Okay, let's just take the time to say thank you to Harrison for joining.
Yeah, my pleasure, Kanoki. Enjoyed casting with you. I've add you to the list of people I've now casted with this tournament. Boys in the chat watching, next series will come up in about 3 minutes max. I tell you what you can do in 3 minutes. That is to like the video on YouTube stream, follow the ESOC TV channel, and donate using the donate link as well. Any donations will help the prize pool and keep the community tournaments going. And I can see more than 300 of you enjoyed the action consistently through that cast. We're touching 400 in places, so God, if every dropped in £2, that's another tournament instantaneously. So any support, very, very, very grateful for. Right, I'll hop up, guys. GG, thanks for the cast. I'll see you guys on the other side.
See you soon. And guys, don't move
He's
anywhere.
gonna need to take trades here, and he's taking really good trades. The Kanye are now pushing in, and is this